6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. Week 10 of the NFL season wrapped up last night with Monday Night Football in Green Bay. The Eagles beating the Packers 10-7. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts threw for 183 yards and a touchdown in the win as they improve to 7-2 on the season. Packers kicker Brandon McManus missed a last-second 64-yard field goal to tie it, so the Eagles go on to win it. Also, Packers center Elgton Jenkins suffered a leg fracture and will go on IR, possibly missing the rest of the season. In Titans news, running back Khalil Mullings and safety Mike Brown have been designated to return from injured reserve, which opens their 21-day return-to-play window. In other NFL news, the Giants announced yesterday they have fired head coach Brian Daboll 10 games into his fourth season as head coach yesterday, and announced that the offensive coordinator Mike Kafka will be the interim head coach. General manager Joe Shane will remain as the GM and lead the head coaching search for next season. The Giants are 2-8 this season. The Bengals have designated quarterback Joe Burrow to return from injured reserve 2 months after he had surgery to repair a grade 3 turf toe injury that he suffered back in week 2. Burrow has 21 days to return to play. And Commanders head coach Dan Quinn announced yesterday that he will be taking over defensive play calling duties moving forward. Washington has lost 5 straight, and they've given up 35.8 points per game in that span. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A very good Tuesday morning to you in Music City, USA, and welcome in. The full crew is back together in studio. Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Wrapping up NFL Week 10 with Monday Night Football reaction and headlines. We've got the Titan that needs and is most likely to have a good finish to the year. We'll do that in hour 2 at 7:20. VolQuest's Austin Price hitting the Vols headlines out of the Tennessee football bye week at 8:20. And television's Dawn Davenport joins the show at 9:20 this morning. It is Tuesday, November the 11th. It is frigid. And Ramon Foster was welcomed with a cold blast of air as he returned to the United States, to the state of Tennessee, and, of course, to the city of Nashville. Welcome back. Good morning.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be back, man. Man, is the sound right on the headphone jack? Nothing's going on with my
Sounds
headphone.
Good to me.
But
you got to turn it up on your end, probably.
I am, but my right one isn't working. My right one isn't damaged at all. This is weird. This is weird. Yeah, all good. I'm only hearing out my left ear, though. But either way, I'm glad to be back. I landed and I got out of the garage, the parking garage. And I'm just like, hold up, is that Flurries?
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, was not okay with that. I did pack a hoodie, my Vols hoodie, internationally traveled now, just so you know, okay? My black one with the Vol letters over the front. I was just like, they gonna know I'm from Tennessee and I'm a Vol out here, okay? But it was a good time, man. The best way to travel, if you can, other than private, okay, I think, is...
Must be nice.
They only did like 2-3 times, okay? But but best way to travel, if you can, especially internationally, with the carry-on. It made everything seamless. I didn't have to get my bag, check it back in to domestic, and wait on it and recheck everything. No. I walked up to the counter. The lady was like, traveling with a carry-on? I was like, yeah, go ahead. I was just like, oh, my gosh. The app that I was using at the time to get through the airport, they flew us United, flew me United. It told you that getting through customs, passport, and everything else was going to take like 69 minutes. And I was just like, oh, my gosh.
Specific number.
Man, I know it's crazy either way. I made it through in like 25 minutes. From the airplane to rechecking into the Houston airport, man, it was quick and seamless. Thoroughly enjoyed that way of travel. But Mexico City, Will, culturally, I would tell you, I understand each country has its issues and problems, but listen to me. I had one of the best times of my entire life in Mexico City within 48 hours. The people were nice. The food was awesome. Culturally, just looking at everything that they have down there was phenomenal. The avocados amazing, man. And the
Avocados from
tacos,
Mexico.
listen, they taste way different than anything we had
How
here,
so?
man. They're softer, they're buttery.
Okay.
It was just it had more flavor and texture to it. It was amazing. I will say, did not drink an ounce of the water there. Everything I had was bottled. And somebody tried to offer me a drink. Not like somebody was trying to come up and just give me a drink, but it was like, do you want ice? I was like, no. Absolutely not. And it was good. The language barrier had its challenges at time, but riding around the city of Mexico City was a great experience. Got an opportunity to see some of their old history there. And then we went over there also with Nate Washington. Uncle Nate is what he is right now. His mood is just so chill. He's got no other description other than Unc.
He's the kind of wide receiver you do want around.
Oh my gosh. Listen to me. Just chill, got a plan in mind, understand the scenarios he's in. Cause I've gone over there before and I was like, man, there was some dudes that was just trying to they were trying to go out and party. Nate was like, well, you ain't got to worry about that with me, man. Like, he was just real chill about everything. And he's the type, too, you ever been around somebody? Savage is this way, too. Every call that calls their phone, they picking up. And I was just like, Nate, your phone never stopped ringing. I'm talking about from phone calls to text messages.
I'm very bad at that.
To FaceTimes. Will, we're in the middle of a situation. Nate's picking up the phone. Hey, check us out. I'm like, Nate, they can't hear you right now. Okay? They can't hear you right now. But it was good, man. The NFL puts on a really good showing when it comes down to how they want the brand to be just expanded from United States to everywhere else.
So you were at a Steelers watch party there, for those who do not know.
Bad time to go to a watch party for a Steelers
Yeah, it was
game.
not a great game to go to a watch party for.
But
To be honest with you.
we were in an Olympic stadium that was built for volleyball, I think they said in the 70s. So we were inside of that. It was 3,000 plus people in there.
Nice.
My signature has changed again.
Okay.
If you have an autograph from me before 11/9/2005, it's different. We signed, I'm talking about close to 3,000 autographs in the night. Do you hear
goodness.
me? They had a VIP section. I started there.
They liked their football down there that much.
Well, it's 27 million people, and they estimated it's like over 7.9 million Steeler fans down there.
Goodness, that's random.
That I know. However they got that number, I believed it after leaving, okay? So they set us up. There was a VIP section. For whatever reason, they put me in the VIP section. I was just like, okay, all right, well, bet. Well, by the way, one of the locals down there told me I would be mucho down there. Ramon would be mucho. So
Muncho.
I was like, what?
Not Ramon?
That's what I said. I said, but I'm already Hispanic, almost there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but
this is all good information.
It was cool and like hearing some of the stuff that they had going on. But so I had it easy at first, and I was just over there signing, me just doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, shaking hands and kissing babies and stuff. And the PR director came over, was like, hey, we need your help. I was like, what? He was like, we're getting blitzed upstairs in the VIP section.
How so blitzed?
Because the line that they had was outside the doggone building of how many autographs. Like, they could only get one of us, one signature per. They couldn't get four that was sitting down at the desk. And like the security, they had to be mean at times. Like, no photos, one signature, and got to roll, because we could. Wow. There was a nonstop line of people coming through, and they were super nice too. Oh my gosh! Also, man, the cologne business is doing well down there. Okay. Just so you know,
you got a lot of takeaways from a 2-day trip.
Listen, I told you it was so much, man. Like, I wanted to post pictures, but like, I got to stay down the middle with my other job and stuff. But like, there's a lot of stuff that went on. The altitude, my lips were dry, and my contacts. They were, because the air is so thin. I think they sit at 7,900 feet or something.
Yeah, they're
like
up
that.
there. It's also tough then you have less access to drinking water quickly, because you got to stay hydrated when you wake up in altitude.
Listen, it was different. I did sleep good the first night because I got up at like 3 o'clock here, and then I ended up going to bed like the next day. I slept at 7:30, which was good. They're on Central Time too, so it wasn't much of a change. Right. What else happened down there, man?
How could anything else have happened? This is like the most. This is the busiest 2 days I've ever heard of anyone having on a trip.
This is how condensed this. I'm probably gonna crash on Thursday, just so you know.
I'm surprised you haven't already crashed.
But Nate was just like, we can't sit in this hotel because YouTube TV wasn't working. I couldn't stream how I wanted to. Nate's like, there has to be a place we can watch NFL games. Found it. It was a 49ers bar, okay?
Oh, okay.
It was phenomenal. Some of the best barbecues I had in a while, man, what came out of that bar. But it was funny because there was some dude going bananas over the Patriots game. And it ended up being a really good game, too.
It did, yeah.
But you ever felt like the building get warm? It was so many 49er fans that came in and surrounded us. Like, they had reserved tables, and it turned out to be a bad game for them, too, so I'm glad we left there also.
Okay.
But in totality, it was – and to wrap up, I enjoyed my time. I would suggest safely going there, staying around the popular places.
Okay. Do
not wander off on the random street in Mexico City, okay? But as far as like the living, how people were over there, it was phenomenal. No lie, I will say again, the cologne business is doing well now. Everybody smelled good. I was just like, God dang, what is that fragrance you got on right now?
Well, last night there and in bars around the country and world, there was more boring football to watch last night.
Was.
The Green Bay Packers fall 10-7 to the Philadelphia Eagles at Lambeau Field on Monday Night Football. The Packers were held to 261 yards, a season-low 7 points in 9 drives. I spoke about this yesterday about the Chargers and Steelers game, saying that sometimes there are good defensive games that are entertaining that are just low scoring. Yeah. I'm willing to admit that not always does a game have to be boring just because it's low scoring. And like that Steelers game, this was not that. This was bad football being played in very cold weather in Lambeau Field between a Green Bay offense that had wide receivers that could not catch the ball or a quarterback that could not throw to wide open receivers accurately because he was constantly under pressure. And then an Eagles offense that pretty much just dumbed it down so much once they realized they had to do so little on defense to win this game that with their own offensive line injuries on the other side, they asked Jalen Hurts to do so little in this game. One check down for 41 yards to set up a Devontae Smith touchdown pass. Legitimately all that the Eagles needed to get to 7-2 last night.
It was. Watching that game was just like in the incompletions, the inconsistencies in running the football, the injuries that popped up over the course of that game too. Lane Johnson goes down, and then of course you have Green Bay also gets riddled again with their offensive lineman going down. It was just nasty. I'm not even sure if it was the cold weather that played a part in it. I still don't know if it was good defense when you look at how it was played.
It's just bad offense.
It was just
on
bad.
Both sides.
Yeah. Saquon couldn't get it going the way you thought he could have too. Some days I'll say this, like, I've never seen a game where one team, both teams just look like they were out of it. It's usually one team that just get their face beat, but like both teams looked as if they were either scared to make a mistake or they didn't know how to feel each other out.
Yeah, it was a rough one. The first scoreless Monday Night Football game since Week 10 of 2009.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Boring.
Yeah.
Boring.
Big B.
If you watched that whole game, you cannot tell me that soccer is boring last night. Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. There are NFL headlines to get to, including another NFL head coach who was let go yesterday. Could he be on the next Titans staff? Would you sign up for that? I know I would. We'll talk about it next.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circus Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circus Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay, though.
Tuesday morning, Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee, and on a cold morning, Scooters can fuel you as well. Locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Our friends at Scooter's Coffee bring us to you. Ramon Foster, Will Boldigan, Justin Hawkins, 615-737-1045. So the Giants fired Brian Daboll. Announcement yesterday coming from the organization also includes the fact that general manager Joe Schoen will remain in his position and lead the search for the New York Giants' next head coach. The 2 first-round pick quarterbacks in the 2025 NFL draft no longer have their head coaches. What was your reaction seeing this yesterday?
I had a friend of mine that's not in the league but connected to it told me that this would happen after the Broncos game, but they won, or they played it tightly is what it was against them.
Right.
I was shocked because I didn't think they had a need to. I thought the relationship that he and Jackson Dart had, I thought was very productive in how he was coaching them. So I thought that played more of a part for what they had going on than him being let go in the moment that it was right now. So I get it. Everybody's trying to salvage what they are as a team, get ahead of the planning for the offseason. But I still was pretty shocked by it, to be quite honest with you, Will. I didn't see this one happening for a guy like him. 2-8, I mean, that's hard living right there for a team that's that big in that market.
I'm a little surprised that there's an immediate vote of confidence for GM Joe Schoen. The Giants are 20-40-1 with him as the general manager. A postseason appearance and win, of course, in 2022. Since then, the Giants have gone 6-11, 3-14, and currently they are 2-8. I don't know. I'm not a Brian Daboll hater in any sense of the word. I think Brian Daboll is a pretty decent coach. I think there was a lot of factors around why New York hasn't really been very good. I mean, I don't know, though. It's hard to look at that situation and look at anybody there who had the opportunity to win with Daniel Jones and then look at what Daniel Jones is doing in Indy and really feel like any of them deserved to be kept around. I just think it's interesting that they specifically mentioned that not only is Joe Schoen being kept around as GM, he is running this search. You are doubling down on a guy who has got double the losses to wins at the time that he's been the general manager.
Yeah, I don't get it. And again, maybe it's the trust that he has. I'll say this too when it comes down to Joe Schoen in this situation is it's better to probably keep some stuff stable. Missing on a head coach like Brian Daboll is I think, almost forgivable for a team with a market like that. Like I will say, as far as the draft goes, they somewhat hit that. They got the quarterback, they got Abdul Carter. They've done well in that department. It's a matter of the day-to-day operation of the players. When you look at Brian Daboll's situation, I'm a firm believer, and I'll say this, and some guys get these opportunities, they're just not ready for them. I'm not sure if Brian Daboll's in that situation in whole, but guys, coaches, everybody wants to be a head coach at some point. It's rare you see the ones that like, yeah, I'm just doing this because I love and I want to develop and, coach my position group. D-line coaches usually kind of stick into that mold more often, but the offensive guys, they usually chase the head coaching job. I just don't think all of them are made for the managing of the team. Being able to separate yourself from what got you the job, meaning he was an OC and got to be the head coach. I mean, you saw how he was a pit bull after Jackson Dart, as far as coaching him up and stuff like that. That was his guy. And then you fall into a situation now, if this was, the GM Schoen situation when it comes down to him picking Russ to come in and Jameis to come in and all those guys being in the group, that's just a bunch of bad quarterbacks that you're missing on at the biggest position. I don't think anybody thought that Daniel Jones would turn into how Joe Schoen didn't surround him with the parts and make him successful. To your point, that's questionable. But I think when you look at the locker room, the way Coach Daboll was coaching it up and led them, it's probably just a little bit more flagrant than we know. He wasn't cut out for being the general.
Two parts of this that are interesting, and again, this is a moment where Easton Freeze's and I's brain work alike because I had the exact same thought seeing who the interim was. Offensive coordinator Mike Kafka is now the interim head coach of the New York Football Giants. he is someone who has interviewed for the Titans head coaching position the last time it was open, when the Titans hired Brian Callahan. If they string together some wins, Mike Kafka is going to be a popular head coach candidate not only there, but also around the league. Well-respected, offensive-minded coach, quarterbacks coach, I imagine now play caller in New York for Jackson Dart, who I know went out with a concussion at the end of that game against Chicago on Sunday, but something to monitor there, because I think if he does well, we will consider him a coaching candidate, and so will the Giants and any other team with a vacancy.
Yeah, it will. I'm interested to see how he leads them, because with this, I feel like it's the same as Cam. The success of how you man this offense is going to be crucial for him, and how Jackson Dart shouldn't look like he's going backwards because Dayball's not there.
Right.
It will be his playbook, because that's just how it kind of goes in a sense. But it's going to be fascinating to see how they finish the season out. And then the other part of it is, too, how much do they want to finish this thing out good? Do they want to end it with a bang, too? Because they've pretty much set themselves up for the future with, Abdul Carter, and also having Jackson Dart as their franchise moving forward.
Sure.
I just, like you said, Kafka's in a situation where he wants his name circulating, too, and he can't look like a joke. Only 38 years old.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do in an interim situation when you're kind of considered a top assistant who hasn't yet been given that big chance.
Yeah.
Well, this is your big chance, but maybe not in the way that you originally envisioned it.
No.
Would you be interested in Brian Daboll as a Titans offensive coordinator candidate in 2026?
Offensive coordinator?
I mean, why not, right? He's a good OC, and he had a very well-documented bromance with Cam Ward in the draft process.
Yeah, he wanted
the Giants wanted Cam Ward.
That's true.
And Brian Daboll, you think about the way he's wired with Jackson Dart and the way his personality fits him and that guy, and how fiery and kind of intense Brian Daboll is. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, Ramon. What kind of coach do you think is going to be the best personality fit for Cam Ward? Because Cam Ward is an alpha quarterback. He is a strong competitor.
Yep.
There's a certain type of coach that's going to have to work with that in the right way, right? What kind of person is going to be best to coach Cam Ward in the future?
I'll give you three personalities, I guess, and they're all different in my personal opinion. And one of them's unavailable, and the other one, I'm not sure if he will be, but I think Josh McDaniels in New England would be his type.
And he's very much unavailable.
Mike McDaniel could be his type, because he's just like, bro, shut up. I feel like that would be him.
Really?
If Cam tried to, high step him and stuff like that.
I didn't expect that, because I feel like McDaniel may be the opposite.
Nah, I see him as the guy that Cam has no choice but to respect, because of how his mind thinks.
Quiet confidence.
And having him in a position where I don't know if Tua's fixable is what I would say. I think the plans that he has for his offense are good, and Tua's in a position, although they cooked this past. What are the Bills, by the way? Oh my gosh.
Every year, I feel like division winners in every division have won how did you lose that game divisional game, and that was Buffalo's.
Belt to behind the entire game.
Really weird.
But I see him as being that type because he's so eccentric, and Cam would have to listen to him because the guy comes off as smart, right? Whether he is or not, I do think he has a lot of good in him. And it will be Josh McDaniel, him, and then I think Daboll, who's a hard ass. That's the way I look at him. Like, whoever it is, it's got to be a guy that comes in respect and not trying to appease and please Cam. Now, only reason I say it like that now is because Cam's so young and impressionable that he has to get his baseline. I don't think Cam has gotten that this year with the inconsistencies that he had with Coach Callahan being fired, and also the coordinators that he has right now. Respect to those dudes, but I don't think they hold the same weight as those other three guys I just mentioned. That's who he has to have. I don't even want Cam, I say this respectfully, but I mean it in a sports term. I don't think Cam should feel like he's the coordinator's equal just yet. He shouldn't have as much say-so as he think he should in these situations. I look at that situation same as C.J. Stroud in Houston, right? Like, see a little bit of a drawback, although they get hot and cold at the same time. But, I don't know if they should have fired the OC because, hey, he said he should be gone.
Exactly.
I feel like there should be somebody that can show Cam, this is how the league operates. I don't think, and I answered myself, I don't think Cam has had that lesson and understanding just yet. This is how the NFL operates. And I feel like the next guy has to have that under his belt.
615-737-1045, our number. Let's go to Tom in Franklin to lead off the phones. What's up, Tom?
First of all, good morning, gentlemen. I don't make a habit of calling radio stations, but I've used to know this skinny kid that would come to his dad to Brentwood Rotary meetings. Was that you?
I think it probably was, Tom, yeah.
All right. Well, tell Ronnie that Tom in Franklin says Heidi. All right.
I will.
You've neglected something, Will.
Okay.
Yes, this is Tuesday, but it's more important. It's Veterans Day.
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
And my father was one. My grandson is one. And I'm grateful to both of them.
Absolutely.
There's a mighty fine Veterans Day parade out in Franklin today, and it's not as big as the one in Nashville, but it's a great parade, and we'd love to see people there for Veterans Day.
No doubt.
Thank you. I'll leave you with 2 words, young Will. Anchor down.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Happy Veterans Day. Appreciate all the veterans who served and give us the opportunity to talk about football.
Absolutely. My granddad, my uncle, and also one of my former teammates, Alejandro Villanueva. I sent him a text early this morning. He used to get mad, too, about Memorial Day versus Veteran Day. He was like, Memorial Day, don't wish me happy Memorial Day. I'm still here. I was like... Yes, sir.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, catch me on Veterans Day. So very particular about that. Thanks all who served, though, seriously, so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have, man. And I'm more than appreciative. Like I said, my granddad, my uncle just retired, and playing with one was insane. The stories that Alejandro would tell on Thursdays.
Can't imagine.
No, I couldn't, even when he was telling me, man. So, Tom, appreciate that segment, that stop right there.
Well, kind of an awkward situation yesterday in Buffalo now that Brian Daboll has been fired by the Giants. I think a lot of Bills fans want him back as their OC.
Hold up.
Joe Brady's stock is falling, Ramon. And I'll be honest, I don't think I have Joe Brady on my top 5 list of Titans head coach candidates at this point. I feel like the more I read about Joe Brady, the more I watch Bills games, and the more I hear from Bills fans on social media, which, again, maybe that's not a way that I should be judging anybody or anything because social media is not real life. But it feels like Joe Brady can draw up a lot of good plays. I don't know if you can really call them. There's just something about that Bills offense that doesn't totally click, doesn't totally sit right with me. This is not groundbreaking analysis. It's not totally fair. I just feel like for how much he is built up as this young quarterback guru, offensive-minded coach, there are too many games like the ones that they had against, like the one they had against Miami. I know they turned it over 3 times. They still have 376 yards of total offense. They get outscored 30-13 in that game, but Sean McDermott had to commit to Joe Brady for the rest of the season in a press conference over the weekend, saying Joe is a good coach. He really is. We got a good offensive staff. They've had really good games. You're going to have some games you want back, some play calls you want back. Those happen. It's about how you respond to them. As a beloved former Bills OC was just fired by the Giants, I just don't think that it's really going too well for the current Bills OC up there in Buffalo.
Man, I'm slow to go on him though, on Joe Brady for this particular, because I don't want to be in a position where I'm reacting a good bit to what he does, and that's because he also coaches Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a out west gunslinger too. It's the way I view his game. Yesterday, I like watching that game on Sunday. I'm looking at it like this ain't all Joe Brady. This is also Josh Allen's inability to not want to take the big shot, make the big play, and also cause the big fumbles and interceptions too.
Yeah, the fumble part.
I do think Josh is playing a big part into why you side on Joe Brady right now in this moment, because when they're good, they're really good, and I think that's because Josh Allen is following the plans. I don't think he was able to follow the plans this past weekend. Now, I will say this. I do think looking at the game plan they had going into Miami where it was rainy, the ball was wet, I didn't think they needed to throw the football as much as they did. They have a well-paid, good veteran offensive line, too. They should have put the ball on the ground, and they did not. Instead, they turned it over while trying to rely on Josh Allen a little bit too much. That is the struggle sometimes, is having a quarterback that you can just say, this isn't the game plan for us to win football games. Our job is to win games, and you throwing the football around like this won't help.
So like Philadelphia last night.
Exactly. It was that's how I view him. I honestly would throw him in that pot if he was fired, Joe Brady, because I do think he can call it. I do think he has games, but I do also look at this and say, Josh is kind of he's a rogue player at times.
It's interesting. Go ahead.
No, that's what I was going to say. I just think he's rogue at times.
He has been sacked 20 times this year. He was sacked 14 times all of last season. Josh Allen. His quarterback rating is better than it was a season ago. 2,100 yards in 9 games. I mean, he's on pace to be right at 4,000 yards. His completion percentage is 70%. Career high completion percentage at the moment. So to your point, he's got 5 picks to the 6 that he had last year, but he's also completing 70% of his passes. Our teammate Buck Rising said he's the midseason NFL MVP.
Josh Allen?
Over the weekend.
No, stop it. Don't do that, Buck. I know it only goes to the quarterback, but Jonathan Taylor. Nobody's playing. Nobody's hotter in a non-quarterback position.
Does that matter?
In a non-quarterback position. It
Not should it matter, does it matter what he's doing?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
He won that game for him this past weekend.
No doubt about that. If he keeps having games like that, then yes, we can start having a very serious Jonathan Taylor MVP discussion.
He's lukewarm on the MVP conversation, but I think the answer is Jonathan Taylor, in my personal opinion. The other one is Drake May, right? He's in that conversation too.
He is.
I didn't have Josh Allen as the mid. Now, his numbers speak for it, though, too.
Speak for themselves.
They do speak for
he's
themselves.
having a career year in some ways, and it's strange. In other ways, he is as bad as he's ever been.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But I'm not out on Joe Brady, though, when it comes down to his pitfalls that he's having. I think boxing Josh in a little bit more, which you can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that as an OC.
Coming up, there is a player trying to return to the football field who I think is wasting his time. We'll talk about that next to wrap up Hour 1. Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone. Hey, what's up? It's Will Bowling. Do you have a plumbing issue at home? Whether it's a leaky faucet, a clogged drain, or a water heater that's gone cold, the plumbing professionals at Lee Company, they got your back. They're available 24/7 year-round. Lee Company's licensed technicians can save you time, money, and all the stresses that come with an ill-timed plumbing issue. That's the beauty of Lee Company, is that when anything is ill-timed, when things aren't working the way they're supposed to, and maybe you got company coming over, you've got the family coming in town during the holiday season, you need things working, and you need them working quickly. You head online, contact the Lee Company award-winning team at leecompany.com. They'll be right out. They've got a big fleet of vehicles that you've seen driving around Middle Tennessee. They will take care of you. Head online to leecompany.com. Make sure you're taking care of that plumbing issue you got at home. Again, that's leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. Tuesday morning, Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee at Ramon and Will, where you follow the show on Twitter. Stream it live at 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Coming up in 15 minutes, we have got a pair of Vols tickets to give away to see Tennessee host New Mexico State this Saturday at Neyland Stadium. Plus, you get a $50 gift card at Volunteer Traditions to stock up for game day as well. So we got 2 tickets to give away. You can stick around and have your chance to win in 15 minutes. Ramon will be there.
I will be there.
I think I will be there. But
You
I don't know
think?
yet. I think. I haven't decided 100% yet.
Home game this weekend for the Titans.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Whole month of November. Home games for the Titans.
That's big time right there. You ain't got to go out on the road for Thanksgiving.
So the Cincinnati Bengals got Joe Burrow back on the practice field yesterday. I think it's a waste of time. Cincinnati is 3-6. The Bengals have lost 5 of their last 6 since Joe Burrow hurt his toe during a Week 2 win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another injury for Joe Burrow, who just can't stay healthy for a full season. I think he's been playing long enough, Ramon, at this point to where it's time to start having that conversation. It's not all his fault. Their offensive line is a sieve, commonly. But Zach Taylor said Joe Flacco will be managed throughout the week, but appears to be feeling okay after the bye week. Said the internal timeline was for Joe Burrow to start practicing, didn't do any 11-on-11 drills, and started his practice protocol by throwing passes to receivers in routes on air. Is it a waste of time for Joe Burrow to play this year with the Bengals at 3-6?
I won't say it's a waste of time, but it's going to be a hard ride for him to get back. And the only reason I say it won't be because he's a guy that's healthy right now. You need that for team morale. You need that for team standards. Is, hey, if you're healthy, you play type of situation that they're in. And it's hard to say. What do you say? They are 3-6 right now, and they've got 8 games left in the rest of the season. I'm not sure they're going to win 8 games and make themselves a valid playoff contender in this moment. Their first 5 games that they got to play going into this one is hard. It's hard sledding for them, man. It's at Pittsburgh. They got New England, who's still hot right now. Go to Baltimore, go to Buffalo, and Baltimore again, and the weird Miami Dolphins game. It's for his career, I think, good for him to get back out there with the injuries that he's had. But for a team that's well under 500 at this point right now, I can't see this just being a season that they can just turn around like that.
Yeah.
It's if they had better opponents, then yeah, or weaker opponents, then yeah. Their issue is the second half of the season, the NFL wants these primetime games. And Cincinnati was supposed to be a hot team that plays in these types of games. I can't say they got 2 late night. It was a Thursday and they got a Sunday night game too.
That is the game that Burrow's trying to get back for is Thanksgiving against the Ravens.
Yeah, that wouldn't be. I wouldn't advise that for him. I ain't calling it a wash, but I wouldn't advise it for him with a guy with a toe situation.
Over the weekend, we learned what the Bengals were trying to get for Trey Hendrickson.
Oh, they disclosed
From NFL
that.
Media's, well, they didn't disclose it. NFL Media's Ian Rappaport disclosed it, saying that they wanted a second-round pick at the trade deadline for Trey Hendrickson. Said the best offer was a 4th.
Wow. Well, I think one because of the salary and the new deal that has to play a part in it too.
$16 million base salary. Cincinnati's already paid him $13 million.
That's fascinating because I think that says more about what the league thinks of Trey than it does about the deal that was given up.
Hip injury as well in the Week 8 loss to the Jets at Paycor Stadium. I don't know. I mean, the Bengals feel like a team that needs a soft rebuild.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because, again, we were banging the drum, as many others were, that they needed to pay their guys this offseason. It was like pulling teeth, but they eventually did pay their guys. The problem now with Cincinnati is they have not drafted well enough to overcome those high-paid players not playing like high-paid players. Right. And Joe Burrow's injury, coupled with Trey Hendrickson, A, kind of getting old, and B, also being hurt himself, has meant that a shaky offensive line, still a very soft defense, has just kind of put him towards the bottom of a pretty competitive division. Now, all of a sudden, you have Baltimore, who's getting healthy again, who has been able to kind of tread water despite not having Lamar Jackson, because I know they've been even more injured. They've been as injured as anybody, which is just things that John Harbaugh teams always do. but they've drafted enough young players that have allowed them to stay in the hunt in that division. Pittsburgh plateauing has also helped them stay in the hunt, to be fair as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I wonder will they look back at this Shamar Stewart draft pick and think they should have got James Pierce Jr. in it too.
Don't think Shamar Stewart is doing very well.
No, he's not. I looked at his stat line. It doesn't look like a number 17th overall pick right now. And Trey Henderson doesn't look like himself either. I say that he's got 4 sacks on the season. You just said he just had an injury too.
Yeah, so Shamar Stewart, their edge, has no sacks. And again, we don't like using Pro Football Focus as a primary statistic, but when things are so skewed towards being a top-ranked player or so skewed away from being a top-ranked player, I think it's meaningful. He is ranked 110th out of 110 edge rushers who have played in the NFL this year, according to Pro Football Focus. His run defense grade, Ramon, this is legitimately the lowest grade I've ever seen on PFF, 28.3. That's out of 100, kids. That's always what I would ask, what my dad would ask me. It was a joke. Like, again, I very supportive parents. I'm not complaining about this. I would get home and be like, I got a 90 on a quiz. He'd be like, out of what? 200? Classic dad joke. Gets a chuckle every time.
No doubt.
Shamar Stewart, 28 grade as a run defender out of 100. Not great, Bob.
That's tough.
Be a great ACT score. Shamar Stewart had a 28 ACT score grade
that's
in run
phenomenal.
defense.
Education is key, baby. Education, I love that. No, seriously, for him. And to compare one to the other two, James Pierce, 9 games, 2 starts. He's got 1 forced fumble and a fumble recovery for 27 yards.
And that was over the weekend.
And a sack and a half.
Forced fumble was.
Yeah. So you want him to be hitting his stride right now. That Atlanta defense looked good this past weekend,
sure
too.
Did. They can actually get out of after the passer now. They had 16 pressures, I think, on Sunday in Germany.
They got after it.
They are like pass rush the way the Titans have been at wide receiver for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like every team just kind of has that one position group they struggle to find players at. And it has always been pass rush for Atlanta. And now they've got that, and they have no quarterback again. Because Michael Penix Jr. is starting to create some pretty difficult conversations, I believe, in Atlanta.
I mean, this is also what happens when you have ownership step in to make football decisions. It was he that wanted, Arthur Blank, that wanted to go draft him because he didn't want to find himself in a bad quarterback carousel again of the Kirk Cousins situation.
Coming up, Titans headlines yesterday from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park as interim head coach Mike McCoy addressed the media. An update on Jeffrey Simmons and Calvin Ridley, a couple players who are returning to practice. One thing the Titans want to change out of the bye week, plus a pair of tickets to see Tennessee take on New Mexico State and a $50 gift card from Volunteer Traditions. Come on back for all of that as Hour 2 of Ramon and Will begins next.
6:59. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. Week 10 of the NFL season wrapped up last night with Monday Night Football in Green Bay. The Eagles beating the Packers 10-7. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts threw for 183 yards and a touchdown in the win as they improved to 7-2 on the season. Packers kicker Brandon McManus missed a last-second 64-yard field goal to tie it, and also Packers center Elgton Jenkins suffered a lower leg fracture. In Titans news yesterday, running back Khalil Mullings and safety Mike Brown have been designated to return from injured reserve, which opens their 21-day return-to-play window. In other NFL news, Giants head coach Brian Daboll, after 10 games into his fourth season yesterday, was fired. And they also announced that offensive coordinator Mike Kafka will be the interim head coach. General manager Joe Shane will remain as the GM and lead the next search for the head coach. The Giants are 2-8 this season. The Bengals have designated quarterback Joe Burrow to return from injured reserve 2 months after he had surgery to repair a grade 3 turf toe injury that he suffered back in week 2. Burrow has 21 days to return to play and is estimated in week 13 against the Baltimore Ravens. And the Commanders head coach Dan Quinn announced yesterday that he will be taking over defensive play calling duties moving forward. Washington has lost the last 5, and they've given up 35.8 points per game in that span. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 on your Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Coming up in 10 minutes, your chance to head to Knoxville this weekend to see Tennessee host the Aggies of New Mexico State at Neyland Stadium, plus a $50 gift card from Volunteer Traditions. We should lead with that. I've got the dark mode Volunteer Tradition sweatshirt on today. Yeah. I wore this at Neyland, Ramon. Not last weekend, obviously the last game day against Oklahoma. I almost felt guilty for being so comfortable. I was looking around, looking at people like, I'm wearing this soft crew neck sweatshirt. It looks good. It's got the dark mode helmet on it. And I feel like I am in like a pajama sweatshirt. Yeah. That's how comfortable it is.
And it should be that way.
It absolutely should be that way. There's no guilt associated with being comfy at a football game. So you too can be that at volunteertraditions.com. Mike McCoy said yesterday that Jeffrey Simmons and Calvin Ridley are working extremely hard to get back. Significant, Ramon? Getting them back this weekend against the Houston Texans?
Yes, you do, because that game means a lot. It's a divisional game. If you can spoil somebody else's season, you should. And here's the thing. Calvin's got, not a whole lot of miles on his body anyway, although he's 31 years old, be 32 next year, if I'm not mistaken. He wants to play. He should play. And I feel like these guys owe a little bit also to Cam and watching them from the sideline like this too. I mean, Calvin was one of the biggest advocates for a guy like Cam Ward and how he was going to help, mentor him, guide him, show him the way and be a leader with him out on the field too. And the other part of it too, now that the trade deadline is done, you understand what you are as a team. Man, the ultimate goal is still to win as players. However, some think the front office set up certain things or coaching staff, hey, they call bad plays because of this or because of that. Everybody on this roster and on that staff is fighting for a job. And I also think that's Calvin too. Whether he's here next year or not, the idea of him being a NFL wide receiver, I think still is in the back of his mind or at the front of his mind too. So, yeah, it's significant for him to be out there.
Seth Walder of ESPN Analytics and NFL Next Gen Stats Numbers, he works for ESPN, put out a tweet yesterday with a graph. Twitter and NFL people love a graph to talk about analytics and talk about NFL football players. But it was a graph that put pass rush win rate, the percentage of time that you are winning in pass rush situations, on one axis, and on the other, double team rate. How much you're being double teamed and how much you are still winning despite being double teamed. Jeffrey Simmons is in his own stratosphere. And I mean this in a positive way. Sometimes there are graphs that can paint players in negative lights, and you're like, oh, you don't want to be in your own world because you're in the bottom left. No, this is a top right situation. Retweeting this at Will_Bowling right now. Or actually, last night I retweeted Jeff at Grind Simmons 94 who retweeted this. Jeffrey Simmons is way above anyone else in terms of pass rush win rate this season. He has also been double teamed an above average amount of time. Those two things are not supposed to correlate together.
No, they're not.
When you are double teamed as much as Jeffrey Simmons is and has been this year, you're not supposed to be winning as much as he is. He tweeted last night, "I'm ready to get back to it. That was just the warm-up. I haven't played in 3 weeks." If you wanted a clear picture on why Jeffrey Simmons was not traded by Mike Borgonzi, that's it. And what they see from him on the practice field, what you hear from him talking to the media and also talking to his teammates in the locker room, and the example that sets, Ramon, on a 1-8 football team to be putting out social media posts. And again, social media, not everything. You can say whatever you want. He's backing it up, though, is the thing. It's not just tweeting and Twitter fingers. When your play on the field also dictates talking about it a little bit and spiking the football a little bit, so to speak. That's why Jeffrey Simmons is the foundation that the Titans are building around. The guy at 1-8, already having a career season, has no interest in shutting it down and is, in fact, actually saying, no. There's actually another level I'm about to get to, and hopefully that starts this weekend against the Houston Texans.
It does. And here's the thing. I've never in my life ever ran away from smoke or situation when it comes down to it. But you just know in certain weeks when you're playing against certain guys that you got to have your chin strap buckled tight. Your gloves need to be strapped on hard, and then you need to tape your wrists. If you got an elbow issue, put that arm sleeve on. And the reason I say that is because a guy like him, Jeff, plays with a different passion, I think, than some do. There are some, everybody gives their all, but some give a little bit more. And I think that's Jeff on every play that he's out there. And I say that out of respect to guys that you see playing that way. The issue that I think interior offensive linemen have with Jeff is going to be this. One, the weight loss has proven to be a benefit for him. His ability to still have the power, but also have, I guess, the sleekness of being able to sidestep you and get upfield. He already had, I thought, was the heavy rush. Sure. Where you had to decide if you were going to take on the bull rush with him or you were going to, get faked out and go sideways. I think he's a different animal than it comes down to a guy like Chris Jones. Chris Jones is a heavy body guy that he got some wiggle to him, but you can kind of predict this one. With Jeff, it almost become unpredictable in how you need to scheme him up. The best way, in my personal opinion, to beat Jeffrey Simmons is to run the football at him. But that's the issue that you have. You're not going to run the ball 60 times a game against a guy like that, and he's going to find his opportunity and his ability to, I'll be honest with you, to mind trick you into deciding which bull rush am I getting, or is he going to beat me across the edge? It's a super fascinating point for him. I don't think Jeff ever needs to go above the weight that he is playing at right now. I think it's great for his health-wise, as far as his joints and knees and mobility, but his performance is proven to be, according to this graph, because people love graphs, to be a sign of doing the right thing in the offseason. I almost feel like he'd be closer to 10 sacks by now had he been playing these last 3 weeks.
He might still get it the way he's been playing this season, and he's done it without T'Vondre Sweat.
Yeah,
we knew that was a stated goal of Jeffrey Simmons. 10 sacks in 2025, and he's got 4.5 through 7 games.
Right.
He's got time to still get to that point with 8 to go, and now you're playing with Meatloaf.
And on top of that, too, the O-lines that he's got left on his list, he should be licking his chops right now.
Well, yeah, the Houston Texans, last time he played them, he had a sack within 0.2 seconds. It's the fastest sack of all time.
Now, that was scared right there. They were scared of him. You see certain stuff when you playing against people. It's they don't want any smoke with them. You see that with Myles Garrett from time to time. Guys are just getting their face kicked in, and there's no answer for them. And I feel like as a player, you can't have that on your resume because somebody else that's similar is going to attack the exact same thing. That Cleveland game is going to be fascinating, too, because they'll give it up, too. And they got a young rookie quarterback holding onto the football or just throwing the ball in the air the way they do. if you don't get 10, he's getting 9 is the way I look at this one.
I love how physically hurt you are by bad quarterback play.
I am. I absolutely hate it. There's nothing worse than having your offense be bad because the quarterback is also playing a huge part in it too. You know how hard it is to block for them dudes?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't,
know you
obviously,
do, but
because
like,
I haven't done it.
Everybody should play O-line once in their life, okay? Just once is all I ask.
There's a lot of us that aren't built for that, Ramon.
In Pee-wee, you can do it, okay?
Like I said, there's a lot of us that aren't built for that, Ramon.
I hear you.
So Mike McCoy talked yesterday about changes you make out of the bye week. This was the Titans interim head coach meeting with the media.
Well, I think every year you go into it. It's every season you look at things, you go into the bye week, and you always evaluate what you're doing. And certain things you might have had plans with at the beginning of the year saying, hey, this is going to be core. Maybe for some reason it's not as successful as you want it to be. So maybe you kind of want to eliminate some of those things. And there's a couple things that I looked at and I said, hey, let's kind of stay away from a couple of these concepts. Maybe we're not having the success. Let's run more of something else that is, higher completion percentage that we have more success with. So there's always that every year when you get to the point. There's things you look back and say, God, this used to be, but it's players. And sometimes you look at it and you say you had a certain, for example, a certain route concept that you might have had that guy that was really good at that route where, it was 9 of 10 in the past, and all of a sudden you have a different person in that position, and that may not be what he does best, and you've asked him to do it a couple times. And so you always look at that too sometimes of it's great to have that time off to really take a deep breath and look at it and say, okay, why are these things not working, and how do we improve it? Do we got to formation it different, or are we better off just, we're not getting the looks that we want for that play, so you run something different.
I know you don't want to get into scheme specifics, but can you tell us some of the areas where those conversations took place?
Well, I can tell you right, third down is one of them. We have to be better on third down offensively. You talk about scoring more points and doing things, but when you're in the high 20s on third down conversion rates, it's tough to score a lot of points. You got to sustain drives, whether it's in the red area somewhere where you talk about those 4-point plays, you're kicking field goals, or you extend the drive, or is it somewhere to anywhere else in the field where you want to get another opportunity. So that's a huge focus for us.
Cam Ward this season has struggled on third downs, Ramon.
I just saw the number.
And he has struggled to perform under pressure. This season, when he has been pressured, he has been sacked 38 times. He is completing 44% of his passes when pressured for a 57.9 quarterback rating, 519 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. What number are you talking about?
The third down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's bad. I don't think I've ever seen it in the 20s like that, man. 28% on third down. But there's a lot of, moving parts when it comes down to why that is the way, too. They get in those 3rd down and 5 situations, and guys are jumping. Then it's 3rd and 10. It's hard to complete. It's hard to complete in those situations too. The 1st and down runs that they have, 1st and down plays, not even just runs. Finding a system that works for you too. Like I said, I like the screen game when it works, as far as throwing the football out to the perimeter, and it hasn't worked. So now you're in 2nd and long, and then you're trying to find yourself out of that position, and you run the football thinking teams are playing soft on you, and your offensive line isn't getting the movement that they should also. There's a lot of problems that have kind of contributed to this bad 3rd down percentage. That's got to be the worst in the league right now. It has to be. And then, of course, on top of that, I see this past weekend as I'm browsing on social media just a little bit. Couch coaches are critiquing Cam's technique. And now I'll say this, there's some truth to it. Also, him settling his feet and throwing down the field and seeing guys clearly and stuff like that. But I'm sure not to excuse Cam, because Cam is playing his part. But the clock in his mind on getting rid of the football is probably faster because of the amount of hits and the amount of sacks that he's had, too. It's 38 on the season, you said? So
38 sacks.
That's a lot of hits.
Cam Ward is on pace to set the NFL record for sack yardage lost. He is on pace to lose 557 yards on 72 sacks.
These ain't the records you want.
No. Let's give away some tickets. Tennessee is going to take on New Mexico State this weekend. It is homecoming. Smoky grays being worn by the Tennessee football Volunteers in Neyland Stadium. We have got a pair of tickets to give away, plus a $50 gift card from Volunteer Traditions here on Tennessee Ticket Tuesday. Be caller number 5 right now, 615-737-1045, to win 2 tickets to see Tennessee host New Mexico State at Neyland Stadium this Saturday, plus $50 from Volunteer Traditions. Caller number 5, that's 615-737-1045. Best of luck. Coming up, one Titan who most needs a good second half of the season, and our pick of the guy who is going to have the best second half of the season after this. Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. Justin, who's heading to Knoxville this weekend?
It would be Aisha.
Aisha.
From Madison, Tennessee.
Shout out.
Shout out to Aisha.
I always love it when people who haven't won with us before win, because then we get newcomers, and it's fantastic
Yeah, nice.
to see and hear their excitement level.
I love
and
it.
now we get some more Vols fans going to the game.
Fantastic.
That was a song in the 90s, man, named Aisha, man. It was pretty cool. It was another bad creation. Aisha. What's the name of the song? God, them dudes were so cool back in the day. Shout out to Aisha, man. I don't even know Aisha, and that's kind of cool. First time I ever heard that name like that.
Love that.
Other than the song.
Good stuff.
I feel like that's kind of a common name.
You think Aisha is?
I've heard.
Keisha is. Shout out to my Keisha.
There it is.
Big
Look at
wife
you
guy.
go.
Huge wife guy.
Shout out to Keisha.
Shout out to Keish, baby.
Are we going to shout out all of our girls now?
I don't even know your old lady. Your
Jordan.
wife's name.
It's
Who?
Jordan.
Jordan?
Jordan with a Y.
With a Y.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jordan, man.
Very nice.
I'm upset. That's my first time hearing you say that, Hawk. What's wrong with you, man?
I
About
don't
to be
know.
a whole daddy out here, man. And you out here, I don't even know your wife's name. Fight me in the parking lot after this.
Oh, wow.
Actually, you want to know a funny thing about my wife?
What's that?
All right, so when I met her, her maiden name is Lee.
Uh-huh.
Of course, that's Will's middle name. That's also my middle name.
Is it?
Yeah. So it was very funny that we were joking that when we got married, that she would change her name to Jordan Lee Hawkins, and mine would be Justin Lee Hawkins. It didn't work out that way, but that would have been funny. It's spelled the exact same way. So it's
Have
funny.
the same
occurrence.
initials, though.
I almost feel like
We
you got to
would have.
name your son Lee Hawkins.
Yeah. Oh, it's also my mom.
I don't even know if it's a boy yet. What am I doing?
So
You're in
do
the early
do you
stages of
believe
this.
in old wives' tales?
Yes, I do.
As
absolutely.
far as like what determines a boy, what
Yep.
determines a girl.
Big old stomach, yeah.
Yeah. So like so far she's having the symptoms. What?
What do you mean? Big
Of a
old
boy.
stomach. What do you mean?
Well, like if the boy, like well, I've heard like if the stomach hangs low, then they project it to be a
Oh,
boy.
yeah,
If
yeah.
it's big and like it hang low,
Well,
yeah.
There's
We're
a
not-
whole world I know
Yeah, no,
nothing
you ain't
about.
ready for this yet, Will. Now stay where you are.
We'll have
Stay on the other side.
We'll have
Nothing
weekly updates. We're 8 weeks on
Y'all
Thursday
8 weeks?
this week. Yeah, this
When do
week.
you find out the baby? 3 months, right?
Yeah, we go back in
That's so
December.
long. Golly.
Merry Christmas.
But yeah, so like
Straight up, Merry Christmas.
yeah, some old wives' tales are basically like determining do you have morning sickness or not, or do you feel nauseous, this and that, or whatever. She feels nauseous but doesn't have the morning sickness. Typically, that means you have a boy, and when you're really tired versus kind of having a little bit more energy, apparently that means you're having a boy as well.
No.
So far.
Keisha was dog sick with RJ. I'm talking about it smells, couldn't wear cologne, couldn't
now-
wear lotion. It was so sensitive.
Yeah, no, her
salute
smell
y'all
is very heightened right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
clean,
thinks we're
Hawk.
having a boy.
Well, that'd be good for you.
Yeah. But we haven't picked out a name. We have a lot of girls' names
Lee
picked
Hawkins.
out, but we have like zero boys' names picked
Lee
out.
Hawkins is the name.
Lee Hawkins. Okay.
I have no possible way to transition to Titans, so that's my transition.
We can talk about
Baby Titans.
who can birth a new career for themselves the second half of the season.
I like it.
That was good.
I like
you gotta
it.
give it like that. That was you smile and blush because you know that
that
was
one.
that might be do it right there, Will. You into that one? Yeah. It's the pauses.
All right, let's go ahead and just get to the topic. Who most needs a good finish to the season on the Tennessee Titans roster, Ramon Foster?
Who most needs it? I'm gonna be
We're
honest
going to ask
with you.
two questions. Who most needs it and who's
who
most
will.
likely to have one?
Okay, I got both those answers.
Yep.
Who most need it is Cam. He has to have it
Why is that?
because it's the projection of the rest of his career is the way I look at this one too. You don't want to go in this beaten, battered, and broken down into this next regime. There has to be the glimpses of like his projection, his ability to be the number 1 overall draft pick. Fair, unfair, it's him. You got to show that you are the guy because right now there's conversations about guys that have been in this position before. Your Zach Wilsons, right? Your Trey Lances. You look at this situation and you say, look at Bryce Young still, right? Like even Baker for what it was worth, and I hate to keep using Baker Mayfield, but he's one of those guys that turned his career around. But you saw Baker be good for Cleveland still. And the only reason I correlate that is because the Browns franchise wasn't that good, but you saw a guy that gave them a glimpse of hope. And that's where I am with Cam. Like Cam's hope is coming from all non-football attributes, is what I'm saying. It's not because of his arm. It's not because of his legs.
I
It's
think
not
it's because of his arm, though, right?
It's more because of his attitude, I feel like, with him. I I need to personally see it in his play more consistently.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. Like, it's a must for me to see Cam have first-round quarterback talent to be displayed weekly moving forward, despite the coaches and the team.
Does the end of this season impact what the Titans do with their first-round draft pick, in your opinion?
Well, there's so much to be done with that.
Like in terms of, here, I didn't frame that very well because obviously the end of the season dictates what you do with your draft pick and who you need, who you're going to draft.
Yo.
Is there any world, Ramon, where the Titans seriously consider drafting Fernando Mendoza if they have the number 1 overall pick? Because the answer is no, but I want you to tell me no. I want you to answer that. No, come on. There's no way. There's truly no way.
Well, that's the reason I'm saying I think you need to have. That's why
I asked.
You need to have a real good finish.
There's just no world we can live in where you're pulling the plug on Cam Ward after one season. There is just no world where that is reasonable at all.
I don't think the business will allow you to, is what I will say.
What do you mean?
I don't know what you'll get for Cam if you moved on from Cam.
But you know what you're going to get for the number 1 overall pick if you have the ability to trade that. You're going to get all of the draft picks.
The issue that you have is that there's so much that you could mortgage on that first round number 1 overall pick right now that helps you, that may help Cam. If this was year 2 of Cam, I say, yeah, give me Fernando.
Yeah,
Mendoza.
but it's not.
But it's not. And that's the only thing that I'm giving. It will be unfair to him, and it's also a situation in which you pretty much pay Cam whatever his guaranteed contract is to hold on to him to just get rid of him after year 1. So the answer is no. Now, the reality of the situation is if you could, you probably would.
If you could what?
If you could draft Fernando Mendoza and not have to worry about the business of having 2 number 1 quarterbacks, I think you would.
I don't know if that's true either, to be honest with you, because I still think Cam has shown enough talent and shown enough potential that you have to give him time to get better.
I push back on that.
He hasn't had enough time. I mean, 1 season is not close to enough.
But you know, what is the acronym for not for long besides the National Football
League? But that's really not for long.
I understand you.
Like, for a number 1 overall pick quarterback, you deserve time to learn how to do the job.
I 100% agree with you, too, but I would also say the same way we look at Shamar Stewart, the number 17th overall draft pick, and the fact that he's not turning into much right now, I think the same can be said about a quarterback in his career when you hadn't seen a whole lot of just glitz and glamour in his ability to make plays.
I don't think that's the same thing.
So my mindset is this on the number 1 overall quarterback, especially when we're judging to what the history of this league is. When Eli came in, he cooked. Right? Like when Ben came in, he
sometimes.
Cooked.
I mean, not all the time, but sometimes.
Like that's what we have to judge these picks by, because so much is put onto the plate of what the standard of NFL quarterbacks are, and they're at the apex of all things business in the NFL. And right now, we hadn't seen that yet out of Cam. We have not seen that out of Cam yet. He's had plays. He's yet to have an entire game. Despite the cast of characters that the Tennessee Titans are offensively for him, it hasn't shown that part of it. And that, to me, is why I say the fairness of this league, and maybe it's my undrafted side of this, too, because I have a hard time being forgivable to guys who have the world placed at their feet. I feel like when you're in a position of Cam or anybody like him, your ability to show that you belong has to be immediate. We saw it last year with Bo Nix. Has he had that?
Has he not shown that he belongs to you?
He showed me that he can play football. He hadn't shown me he belongs in the long haul of what his career could be just yet.
But we're not trying to decide long haul yet. We're deciding 2026. If you draft Fernando Mendoza, Cam Ward doesn't even get a short haul. But we're not thinking about long haul yet.
If we're probably going to rate both of these guys, and I'll even throw in what's his name, Ty Simpson in this. If you put them on the chart, if you put Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, and Cam Ward, I think Cam finishes 3rd in that ranking every time.
Ooh, I don't know. Cam Ward's played a lot more football than Ty Simpson.
Don't matter.
I'm willing to hear the argument on Mendoza, but I mean, you've already invested a year by that point, though, and you still haven't given Cam, at this point, a head coach that is here for more than a month or month and a half of regular season football. And you have a unique opportunity to surround Cam with weapons in free agency and with potentially trading the number 1 overall pick that allow you to set him up for success. If you were to restart all this process and give Fernando Mendoza a comparable supporting cast to what Cam Ward has right now, what's to say he's not going to struggle in the same way with nobody to block for him and nobody to throw to? I mean, I don't even think it's a conversation. I really don't.
It's not a conversation because the business doesn't allow it for sure. But I do think there's a conversation to be had. Like, I do look at the draft room for the Tennessee Titans and say, I do think that option will be explored for the sake of protection of the franchise. I don't think they'll pull the trigger.
No,
but I do
it's
think
not going to happen.
The hard conversation of should we is it has to happen. It absolutely has to happen.
I mean, you're not doing your job if you don't have that conversation.
Absolutely.
But to me, that's about a 5-minute conversation to say.
I think it's longer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I think that's a long, drawn-out conversation as to what's smart for the franchise moving forward.
To me, the only reason why the Titans should seriously consider Fernando Mendoza is to drive up the price for the pick that they have, where they could potentially take him. That way, you get more in return for him.
But it won't be believable, though, because nobody's ever done it like this. Only thing that's ever happened in these situations is Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, right? Or you have...
Well, I think the good comparison is Josh Rosen to Kyler Murray.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Once the Cardinals had the chance to draft him in 2019, but Josh Rosen wasn't a number 1 overall pick.
That's true.
Not the same level of talent at quarterback. Yeah. Just isn't. To me, it's Tavondre Sweat. Yeah, I think he's the one that most needs a good finish to the season. 2 sacks in 4 games so far this year, which is actually more than what he had last year in 17 games. His ability to play next to Jeffrey Simmons and look like the Robin to Jeff's Batman that we expected and hoped to see for the entire season, I think it is more meaningful for him, more so than any other player, because on a team where the Titans are devoid of trade pieces and of players that are worth recuperating draft assets for, Tavondre being one of them, his value is important to the Titans, whether or not he is on or off this roster in 2026. Because the same conversations we had about Tavondre Sweat's trade value at the trade deadline, are going to come back up again if he finishes the season with another injury or inconsistency for the rest of 2025. That being said, too, if he even finishes with a good end of the season, and you're thinking about, hey, could you cash in on maybe a little bit of value here if you still feel like this player is not your quote-unquote type of player with the new regime and that front office, do I think that's the right way of doing business? Probably not. I think you want to build around Tavondre and try to get the most out of him that you can, at least over the entire rookie contract that he has. But regardless of how you spin it, Tavondre Sweat has a lot of value to the Tennessee Titans, and he needs to prove a lot to this front office to make up for the time that he has missed this season.
I wanted to put him on. He needs it in the worst way.
Yeah.
His ability to be moved, I think, is easier than anybody else because I think the potential and the burst that you've seen from him allow him to still have value moving forward. I agree with you there.
And how much better does he make Jeffrey Simmons? How much better does he make this defense? That is the area. I talked about this yesterday, Ramon, and how this Titans defense, I think, gets rebuilt this offseason. Master one part of playing defense. Take away one area of the game in 2026. Can you double down? And I think this is what you're probably going to end up doing, because I compared it to New England in the way that New England has shut down teams' run games. Can you double down on stopping the run to make a young, rebuilding secondary better because you're making teams predictable? Do one thing really, really well on defense, and odds are you're going to be better at the other thing because you are making it easy on what am I having to stop, play to play and drive to drive.
I agree. I wonder if Tavondre want to be known as a run stopper or a playmaker.
I don't know.
Because there's not much grace.
What do the Titans want him to be known as? I think is the more important question.
Yeah, that's a better question.
I don't know.
And is he willing to buy into that too?
Is he Vita Vea or is he Vince Wilfork? The topic we had before the season.
Vita Vea is also a menace in run stopping, but he's more, to your point though, he's more known for getting after the quarterback too.
Who do you think is most likely to have a good second half of the season?
I think it's easy, especially with the opponents that you got coming up. Cedric Gray. Cedric Gray. You got teams walking into the Titan Stadium or going on the road that are heavy ball runners. If the offense doesn't also answer the call when it comes down to them being able to score points, then teams are going to run the football. And Cedric Gray has been a monster when it comes down to his level of play and his ability to key and diagnose and make plays for this team. Cedric Gray, to me, at this point, without Jeffrey out there, is the defensive MVP to me.
I would agree.
Yeah. Cedric Gray.
I would certainly agree.
I'm talking about a pleasant surprise. I had him second behind James Williams in the conversation as far as training camp went. I just didn't know because James looked like a freak.
Yeah. I think the coaches also had him behind James Williams in the linebacker depth chart at the beginning of camp, and they went to those joint practice trips to Tampa and Atlanta, and he separated himself.
He did. He's a traditional linebacker to me that is multifaceted in his ability to cover and be downhill, and he's good side to side. And his level of physicality, man, I think he's settled in, and I like his jump that he's made.
I think rookie safety Kevin Winston Jr. is most likely to have a good finish to the season and raise his stock the most. We can listen back to the audio of what Easton Freeze said about him yesterday on the show, in that he might be the best tackler on the defense. The question about Kevin Winston Jr. is, what is he being asked to do? Are you asking him to be a big nickel safety tight end stopper on third downs? Is Kevin Winston Jr. a role player? I think if so, you feel very confident in his ability to play a role that is simplified, that is a kind of sub-package part of the defense. I know he can do that. The question is, at what point does he start taking snaps away from Amani Hooker and or Xavier Woods?
I think the transition happening.
Do you use him? I don't know. That's the question I'm asking.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to it. I think we're about to learn how much they trust him to take over in 2 safety looks versus 3. Either way, I think that he is someone who stands out. I think Kevin Winston Jr.'s ability to get pressure when he is asked to blitz is something that is meaningful. And 2, I think you will see him, as this Titans defense hopefully gets better at corner, start to be given more license to blitz, because you are going to trust the corners, hopefully more down the road, to cover one-on-one or to handle their end of the bargain that allow you to blitz. And it's the same thing that the Vols defense is struggling with. You are not allowed to be as aggressive if you don't trust your corners. The Titans haven't trusted their corners to defend one-on-one, because if you send guys from the back end and they don't get home, all of a sudden you're beat because of the injuries and, let's face it, the trades they've made at corner with Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and Roger McCreary. That's the risk that you take. So can you get some semblance of consistent coverage on the back end that allow you to send Kevin Winston Jr. and guys like that on more blitzes? We'll see.
No doubt.
But I think he's in good position. I think that Quandre Diggs' exit allows Kevin Winston Jr. to certainly get on the field more, and there was always going to have to be a sacrifice there at some point of one of those safeties was going to have to give away this season, because Kevin Winston Jr., as soon as he got healthy, and thank goodness he's healthy at this point, he's ready to play football.
Right.
And I think he's ready to play at a high level. Coming up, you will hear from Mike McCoy talking about T'Vondre Sweat. He was asked about the relationship with defensive players as he spends more time around the defense, and specifically about Sweat. You'll hear from that. Hear about that coming up here to wrap up hour 2. Plus, we'll get to your phone calls. The Titans who most need and are most likely to have a good second half to the season coming up. Relocating around Middle Tennessee is a big challenge, and for Angela, experience meant everything. Having bought and built many homes over the years, she knew what to expect when working with an agent, or so she thought. Then she found Bernie Gallerani Real Estate. It's Will Bowling talking about my good friend Bernie Gallerani. From day one, the professionalism, kindness, and genuine care she received went far beyond what she'd ever experienced before. Every detail was handled, every question answered, and every concern met with honesty and compassion. That's what you get when you work with Bernie. By the end, Angela didn't just close on a home. She gained a friend she could truly trust. If you're ready to work with a real estate team that treats you like family and delivers an experience worth talking about, call Bernie Gallerani Real Estate today. I love this about Bernie. He's so confident in his ability to help you. He's giving out his personal cell phone number. 615-428-2644 is the number. And who says there are no guarantees in life? Check out Bernie Gallerani's 30-day guaranteed sale program. He guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or he'll buy it from you. Call him at 615-428-2644 or visit BernieGallerani.com. What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Will Bowling. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal, just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low, so act now. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 and see how much cash you could get today. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Tuesday morning on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, continues. 615-737-1045. Who is trending in the right direction? Who needs to trend in the right direction over the second half of the season for the Tennessee Titans? Let's go to the phones where Buckeye John is in Thompson Station. Hello, John.
Man, I've been on hold so long. I'm in Nashville now. Hey, guys.
Only been like 10 minutes.
We need to park the car on this whole quarterback thing. We shouldn't have drafted a quarterback with the first pick last year. We should have traded back and got build more needs, guys. We don't need to do that again. Now, let Cam figure it out. If he's bad, he's bad. We'll figure that out next year. We need to get linebackers and cornerbacks and wide receivers and edge rushers and offensive linemen and whatever else I can't even think of right now. We don't need another first-round draft, first-picked quarterback that we don't know what he is yet. Fill all these other spots.
Yep. No doubt.
Thank you, Buckeye John. Appreciate the call.
The thing is, Buckeye John, I wonder who he's a fan of. Buckeye John.
Who's to say?
The thing is about the quarterback situation is, and others I've heard say this around the league, if that one don't work, go get another one. And then go get another one. That's also what the fifth-year option is telling us about that position, too. Now, is it flagrant to have this conversation about Cam this early? Yeah, but you still have to consider it because this is the cheapest that you'll get those guys that are franchise quarterbacks in this position. Like right now, Daniel Jones is going to cost. He's going to cost the Colts moving forward, the same way that Sam Darnold did, too, even though it still came at a discount. But that position and how the draft and the league is set up right now, too, and the fact that you also have to play these guys so young, so quickly, is one, maybe they don't have the opportunity to develop, right? There's that part of it. And then the other part is they've made that position because of the draft cheaper and how you can have your guy and plan around them. Think about this. That's the reason you're looking at the Titans right now going into the offseason. They got plenty of money. Well, why? It's because they got a rookie quarterback. That's what it does allow you to do. Now, trading Cam off, the business, again, I say that. I don't think the business will allow that to happen because of the structure of, and it's early, and it's a new regime that has to come in too. So I'm realistic about it. But my point of it all is the conversation will have to be had about if the Titans do stay with the number 1 overall pick, what do you do with it? And you know a quarterback is going to go early. It's either Ty, Mendoza.
It's those two.
It's those
a two-horse race.
The Titans fans should be watching all IU games. They should be watching all the Alabama games, rooting them on, because the better they are, the more you get for those picks.
It's interesting. As we're talking about this, Dane Brugler of The Athletic just put out his first top 50, or maybe updated top 50, and said, truth time. Some aspects of the 2026 class are underwhelming. The top of the draft isn't as strong relative to most years. Offensive line isn't the strength we thought it could be coming into the season. And because of how these senior quarterbacks have underperformed, needy NFL teams are stuck hoping multiple underclassmen QBs declare. There is one player you are going to hear a ton about in the NFL draft process that I'm starting to watch more of, that is a specimen. And that is Arvell Reese, the 6'4", 240-pound linebacker from Ohio State. This guy is Jalen Walker from Georgia last year on steroids. He is an off-ball linebacker / edge rusher at 6'4", 240, who could be a full-time edge, almost akin to an Abdul Carter, or a full-time inside linebacker like a Carson Schwessinger.
Wow.
This guy is an absolute freak. Dane Brugler has him as his number 1 player. And again, we're not getting too deep into draft stuff at this point. Just to simply illustrate, the weekend the Titans had put them in the number 1 overall pick spot. You've got to come out of this draft with an elite young football player. You also hopefully will come out of this draft with 2027 draft capital.
Yeah.
I think it's important for the Titans to stay patient with their plan. We do that anyway, regardless of what they do. That's not just with Cam. That's just in general. A lot of draft people, Ramon, appear to be saying early that the 27 draft is going to have a lot more blue chip talent than the 26 draft. You've got an opportunity here with trades you could make going into this offseason to set yourself up for the Jeremiah Smith, Cam Coleman draft in 2027.
Yes, absolutely. Arvell Reese, the first time I've heard his name right now, though, too.
Oh, get ready to learn Arvell Reese this offseason. Oh, my goodness.
True junior, too, is what I'm saying.
Oh, my goodness. Stud.
Yeah, 6.5 sacks on the season so far. I'm box score reading, but like you're telling me the projection for him is through the roof. He's the number one prospect right now. Well, besides quarterbacks.
Dan Brugler with The Athletic has him as the number one prospect, and Ty Simpson is number 2. Ahead of Hernando Mendoza, which shocks me. Actually.
So I put this
We'll
comment.
have so much time to talk about that this offseason.
I put this comment in our YouTube chat, and it's just to say this, too, about the position as far as Ty goes and anybody else, though, too. Like, what you're looking for is this at the quarterback position. The measurables are fine because they save you and give you an outlet to make plays. Jaden Daniels, et cetera, everybody, Lamar Jackson, everybody else, right? The big arm strength is a thing. You're looking for a quarterback.
Yes, play the position.
Ty plays the position.
Mm-hmm. He does.
And that's all I want. Like,
I think Mendoza does, too.
Yeah, and Mendoza, yes. Play the position is what you're looking for.
Agreed.
40 don't matter. It can. If you play the position.
Mike McCoy yesterday spoke about speaking more with defensive players. Teron Davenport asked him a question. How much time have you spent with T'Vondre Sweat? Maybe that you wouldn't have before, now that you are the interim coach. He kind of gives a non-answer first, and then Teron follows up with him, and we get a more specific answer.
Well, I think I pay closer attention to every detail of practice. When you're an offensive-minded guy, you're focusing on those things, and I think it's just great to have the conversations in between periods or meetings. Because I sit in certain defensive meetings at times, so you just learn a lot about the players, and you learn. I think how to push the right buttons with the player. That's the key thing is how do you get these guys to go out there and play at a certain level. And so I've learned a lot about these guys on the defense side in the last 3 weeks.
And as far as Sweat specifically, as far as his work ethic or anything like that, what did you learn from watching him more closely?
Well, I think he works extremely hard. He's pushing. We're trying to push him to the next level. Like every player you are on the team, you're trying to push these guys. And I think the defense staff, the entire staff, that's what they do. They go out there and they push these guys to be the best players possible.
Trying to push him to the next level. And then Mike McCoy follows up and says, like every player on the team.
Yeah, he knew what he meant. He had to clean it up.
T'Vondre is not like every player on the team. And that's okay. That's not a bad thing.
No.
T'Vondre Sweat is a unique individual on and off the field, and that is okay. That's not a negative.
It's not a negative, but you also got to get him to buy or move away real quick, Will, to the negatives that surround him, though. And that's I feel like that's what Coach McCoy is saying. The perception of what he is as a young pro, like you said, we're trying to push him to the next level. Like, why are we trying that? T'Vondre's got to beat that. He's got to beat it fast, man. And I'm not knocking him up because we all grow as players. But you want to start this thing off with a bang because he's got 4 years to an extension at some point. Like, he's 2 down at this point. If he don't beat those allegations, it's going to follow him for years to come.
Mm-hmm. Coming up, the Packers and Eagles played a rock fight last night inside Lambeau Field. Should we take these teams seriously? The Packers are hurting my feelings. We'll talk about it coming up next.
Synergex and Low T Center are the original MVPs of testosterone replacement therapy. And what makes them MVPs? Well, to start, they use pharmaceutical-grade testosterone to increase your testosterone to a level that is right for you, not like anybody else. They're not guessing with this, man. They go through a whole process of evaluating you through pulling your blood, getting it tested, and seeing where you are on your levels and making sure that you could be good. And Synergex and Low T Center, they are the real experts at it, and you can trust them with the quality care. Also, they are the only providers that accept most major insurances. Other clinics and online services charge you sky-high pricing for testing, labs, membership, but it goes on and on and on with the cost of it. But Synergex and Low T Center, they make it affordable and easy for you to start and stay on your treatment too. And did you also know this? They also give therapy to women too, because women have some of the same issues as men do, and they experience it. Symptoms like low testosterone, tiredness, no energy, mood swings, low libido. So women, you can also go in and and get tested and get treated as well. The treatment options for you are the injections or even hormone pellets for women. At Center Jackson Low T Center have a long history of helping women to find the hormonal balance that brings back the balance into their lives. Simply put, just imagine how much better you'll feel when you reignite your energy. Get back to feeling like you again. Book your appointment now at trtmvp.com. That's trtmvp.com. You'll be wishing you did it sooner. Genesis Diamonds presents the Holiday Love Event, the biggest and final sale of the year. Mark your calendars for next weekend, November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Enjoy store-wide savings of 20, 30, and up to 35% off. Engagement rings, earrings, pendants, bands, and bracelets. This is the biggest and final store-wide sale of the year. If you've lived here a while, you know that this is the event everybody waits for. Acclaimed designers will be here with their entire collection. Even luxury pre-owned Rolex watches are included in this. 0 interest financing also available. And the staff at Genesis knows they can break all the rules during this 3-day, $30 million sale. Get moving on that fall engagement proposal or shop early for Christmas or reward yourself now with a stunning Rolex watch. Whatever the occasion is, don't miss this incredible savings event. Up to 35% off Genesis amazing everyday low prices, store-wide, colored gemstone, the latest designer creations, diamond classics. Get the best price of the year. And it's 3 days only. The date is November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
8:01, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. Week 10 of the NFL season wrapped up last night with Monday Night Football in Green Bay. The Eagles beating the Packers 10-7. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts throws for 183 yards and a touchdown in the win as they improved to 7-2 on the season. Packers kicker Brandon McManus missed a last-second 64-yard field goal to tie it. In Titans news yesterday, running back Cullum Mullings and safety Mike Brown have been designated to return from injured reserve, which opens their 21-day return to play window. In other NFL news, Giants head coach Brian Daboll was fired yesterday, 10 games into his fourth season, and the Giants also announced that offensive coordinator Mike Kafka will be the interim head coach. General manager Joe Shane will remain as the GM, and he'll lead the next search for the head coach. Giants are 2-8 this season. The Bengals have designated quarterback Joe Burrow to return from injured reserve 2 months after he had surgery to repair a grade 3 turf toe injury back in week 2. Burrow has 21 days to return to play for him. And Commanders head coach Dan Quinn announced yesterday that he will be taking over defensive play calling duties moving forward. Washington has lost their last 5, and they've given up 35.8 points per game in that span. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show, Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Stream it live on 104.5 The Zone TV and on your favorite podcast platform as well. Ramon Foster present and accounted for. Justin Hawkins at the controls. Myself, Will Bowling. At Ramon and Will, at Ramon Foster, at Will_Bowling, where you get us on the artist formerly known as Twitter. Coming up in 15 minutes, VolQuest's Austin Price stopping by to talk some Tennessee football, some recruiting, maybe even some basketball here on this fine, frigid Tuesday. Last night, the Packers were held to a season-low 7 points, 261 yards. The Eagles are 7-2 and on their way to being the first NFC East repeat champion since they won titles from 01 to 04. The Cowboys a distant second at 3-5-1. Yet, Ramon, I feel like I don't take the Eagles that seriously.
You don't?
Am I unfair in watching that game last night and saying I don't think the Eagles are really that good?
I think they have their misfires, like they're missing the spark plugs just aren't firing the way you need them to. But me personally, you're probably more of a realist than I am. I'm giving them just the benefit of the doubt of just who they are and the people that they have on their team. I'm probably more wrong on you than this one. But I look at this one, just two teams that were trying to make it out of the game. First cold game that they've experienced like that, and they were just being seemed like wusses about it. Nobody wanted to just take over and control the game the way they should have. I mean, we're talking about Saquon with 60 yards. Like, what are we doing here?
They get credit for going to Lambeau in prime time and winning.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
They're just so boring. I don't like watching the Eagles play football. I don't like it. I don't want to watch the Eagles play football. The tush-push ticks me off at this point.
What about the missed calls on that,
The tush-push is the most pre-dead play there has ever been. There is no way. There is a...
Pack it up.
There is no chance that play is still allowed in 2026. No chance. First time they ran it last night. Left guard is literally already laying down on the ground over the line of scrimmage by the time Jalen Hurts picks up the football, goes behind him, and falls forward for a first down. Then the Packers try to run a sneak on 4th and 2.
Yeah.
And then they get called for false start because it's more, it's easier to see it because they're not all bunched up the way they do for the freaking tush put. Like, I don't like watching them, so therefore in my mind they're not good. And that's not real analysis. That's not a thing. They are good. I know that they are, but my eyes tell me they are boring, therefore they must be pretty bad. And I know that's not true.
Yeah, no, it's just, but here's the other part of it though too is as a team, especially this time of the year, one, they won in November. It holds the same in every league that you play in. They remember what you do in November and December football. They got an ugly W instead of a decent or respectable loss. So you got to give them that. They found a way to win. They capitalized on another team also playing bad and got out of it, and it was a road win, too, on the NFC side. So they checked that box. It wasn't pretty. I looked up the temperature last night. It was around, I guess, the 20s, in Green Bay last night.
Awful.
Maybe that played a part. They had an injury to Lane Johnson. They couldn't do the extra offensive line set as far as the Eagles go. But you saw what they're capable of in a fraction of what their talent should provide to it. What's, I guess, to your point, what's scary about what they're doing is why are they getting so many veteran players? Is this because of the playoff run that they expect to have, or is it because they're not as strong as you think they are?
Meaning, why is Philly? Why did Philly get so many veterans?
Yes, I'm talking
it's a ring chasing
Jair Alexander.
Team. Yeah, it's a ring chasing team.
It's a ring chasing team.
Yeah.
So you got to commend that, and that to me is where I lay my head with thinking that okay, they'll click, they'll get it together. That was just an ugly game last night, the way you can't, like, every team has that. You just never have both teams have ugly games like that, especially in prime time.
Commenter on Twitch says, have you never watched a low-scoring, sloppy, cold football game? Well, no, I'm not a Big Ten person, so I've not watched a ton of it. The Big Ten bores me. This weekend, you have, by the way, the CBS national game on in the Big Ten this week. Ramon, have you seen what it is?
No.
Someone will get their first Big Ten win of the season with the CBS music attached to it. That's a crime against humanity. Penn State, Michigan State is the CBS game of the week. Anyway, separate conversation. But
look at that team fight this past weekend.
No, I'm being very sarcastic. Like, obviously the Eagles are good. They bore me. I think that their potential on offense frustrates me because they are so far from it.
Right.
Now, last night, you're right. A lot of that was due to the multiple injuries they had in their offensive line. Mm-hmm. Obviously, still replacing Mekhi Becton, who's a Charger now, right guard, who was a revelation for them a season ago. And their right tackle struggled once Lane Johnson went out and Micah Parsons started to rush on that side. Really?
He came in from Florida as an undrafted. Big Fred Johnson's been a bounce around. Philly actually traded back to get him last year after he went into free agency to Jacksonville. I actually saw him down there when we went last year, man. Big Fred Johnson.
Big Fred. Good for him.
He wasn't ready to be in the game, though. I'll be honest with you. You're right about that.
The Green Bay Packers are not serious people.
In what aspect?
I give up. I give up. For so much of this season, early in the year, the months of September and really early October, I thought the Packers were the best team in football. I thought they were Super Bowl favorites, the way they handled Detroit in week 1, the way they skated past Washington in week 2. And ever since then, they lost to the Browns 13-10. They tied the Cowboys 40-40. They get Cincy at home and beat them. Okay, not saying much without Joe Burrow. They go to Arizona and win. They go to Pittsburgh and win. They get okay. They're 5-1-1. They're back. One of the best teams in football. To me, I thought they were the best team in football once they traded for Micah Parsons. Their last 2 losses are to Carolina and Philadelphia. Carolina, who, by the way, just lost to Tyler Shuck and the Saints at home over the weekend. Jordan Love just doesn't do it for me. And I think that Jordan Love, at his best, is a pretty good quarterback. But here's the problem. He is so inconsistent, Ramon. So inconsistent. And in a postseason-driven sport where you've got to string together 3 or 4 really good games at the quarterback position, I don't see it enough from him consistently week in and week out. I know there were dropped passes. I know that offensive line also wasn't perfect in this game, and they struggled to run the ball. I get it. But for where Jordan Love is at this point in his career, Ramon, and for how much time that he's played and how much money he is making, I'm not pocket watching, but again, like, it's the way it works in the NFL. When you get that amount of salary cap money, there is a certain level of expectation of you making more inexpensive players look like high-dollar targets and receivers and linemen. And he just doesn't do it for me consistently enough. 20 of 36, 55% completion, 176. He was sacked 3 times last night. It's just not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough for me. for what he gives that offense. I need more from Jordan Love. Fair or unfair?
I think it's fair. The issue that I have been watching Jordan Love, though, too, is I'm not sure if it's because he was behind him for a few years, but he, in my opinion, mimics Aaron Rodgers a bit too much. His step forward, his step back, his holding on to the football, big shot ability that he wants to have, and it works for him from time to time. He's got wide receivers now that they never gave Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, so I guess, the need to want to do that is pressing him. But to your point, I don't know what his style is other than having a good arm and being an athlete from time to time. His clutch gene is there, but I also feel like the talent that he has at wide receiver allows it to be there from time to time, too. His O-line, like you said, don't help him much at all at this point, but he's, to me, playing outside of what I thought he could be for Green Bay.
Is he doing too much?
It feels that way. Now, the only reason I say this is because watching the Steelers play with Aaron Rodgers right now, it's the same pattern. It's the move forward in the pocket, the move back, the running on, the on the move type of stuff. And I just think to myself, you're causing chaos when it's not necessarily there.
Chaos in your mechanics, chaos in holding penalties because the offensive linemen don't know where you are.
Aaron imprinted on him a lot, and I just don't think the talent is there. The league is allowing it to be the case because that Eagles defense, for what it's worth, still will get after you, and that's what they did to him last night. He didn't look lost, but it just looked incomplete with how he played the game.
Here's the best way I can describe Jordan Love. I think he is the best quarterback who can't win you a Super Bowl. To me, there is a line of demarcation somewhere around the middle of the pack in the NFL. And consistency matters at the quarterback position because you have to have good quarterback play if you don't have elite everything else. Like the Eagles literally a year ago were the example that like Jalen Hurts was not an elite quarterback last season, in my opinion, in the playoffs. But they were so elite around him that it didn't matter. I don't think the Packers are good enough around Jordan Love to him to be 2025 Jalen Hurts, the way Hurts was down the stretch last season. And I also don't think he's consistent enough. His floor is not high enough for them to go on a run and win a Super Bowl.
I can see that.
He is the best quarterback who can't win you a Super Bowl because he's not consistent enough.
That's a tough place to be at. Now, to keep them relevant, to win some games, primetime situations, he's going to check that box for you.
Sometimes.
Do you believe, well, to that point, this is probably a bigger conversation. Some quarterbacks just not destined to win it all. Like you look at Phillip Rivers' situation. There's no him and Marino.
Consistency.
Both.
When you've got to go on a run for 3 straight games or 4 straight games and be consistent for 4 straight games, or just have someone really pick you up on your team if you do have a bad day at the office, or if you throw 3 interceptions at home. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You can't have that kind of disaster game and typically win a Super Bowl because you just got to be more consistent than that. Mistakes are that much more magnified.
His rating was a 68.8 last night.
Not good. A lot of drop passes again. I get all of that, but I've given up. I've given up on Green Bay as a Super Bowl contender. I'd probably give up too soon, but I'm at Sports Talk Radio. I'm paid to give up on things too quickly and overreact. And I'm overreacting, potentially, to Jordan Love and the Packers. But I probably believed too much in them to start the season. So I'm regressing back to the
ugly game you're expecting his team to have won. The situation
I wanted to see more.
Yeah.
Wanted to see more. VolQuest Sauce and Price gives us more. Recruiting nuggets, injury notes. Is Ramon McCoy going to make his Tennessee debut this weekend? We'll talk about it with Austin Price next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, it is cold outside, and you don't want to deal with any of these issues, man. Whether it be plumbing, your HVAC, if the heat's not working the way you need it to, or an electrical emergency because, it's just fried outside and you don't want to be dealing with something that's popped outside of your house. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost you if it'll get fixed right, though, or if somebody's trying to sell you something you do not need. But when you call Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly, man. And the price you tell is the price that you will actually pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years and are family owned and operated. The techs, I've dealt with them. They're very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and they're all background and drug screened, too. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of that tech and a link to track them in real time, so you're not just sitting around wasting time. All right? Their motto is, and they believe in it, and they show you this, happy you'll be or the service is free. If you're not satisfied with the work they're doing around your home, they will either try to fix it for you or simply just give you your money back. To learn more about Hiller or to book with them like I do, I use the website, and I'm going to give it to you just the same. It's happyhiller.com, and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
That's Austin Price's music on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Every Tuesday at 8:20 here on the show, we get the latest nuggets out of Knoxville with Austin Price at Austin Priceless, where you follow him on social media out of the bye week and into homecoming week. Austin, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you all doing?
We are good. Let's go ahead and lead off with the weekly Ramon McCoy question. Austin, do you expect him to be on the practice field today and or ramping things up to maybe make a season debut this weekend for homecoming?
Well, he's been on the practice field the last few weeks, so one would think if he's going to play, it's going to be soon. We'll see. Today's the first day they practice, Will, so coming out of the bye week. Yesterday, they don't do anything on Mondays, so it will be kind of all eyes on him this morning as they're on the practice field right now.
Austin, we've talked with you all season about his motivation. We've talked about the secondary and the moving pieces there with Ty Redmond, obviously, and Colton Hood and Jalen McMurray. Are there any other new faces, adjustments you could see in that secondary specifically out of the bye, Austin? And coaches often that, go into a week like this often come out of it with something new, somebody new. Is there anything new Tennessee can try in the secondary, or simply a matter of the guys who have been playing better?
I think the guys that have been playing have got to play better. They had a better day against Oklahoma. I'm not sure if that was Tennessee or if that was just the fact that Oklahoma is not a great passing team. But at this point in the season, I do think you kind of are who you are. Now, if you were to get lucky enough to get Ramon McCoy back, that would be a huge boost, right? And then my other thing would be, going into a game like this, if you are wanting to try some things, something different, as you speak of, then it's a perfect game to do so because you're not coming back out of the bye into SEC play. You're playing an inferior opponent that you're supposed to handle pretty easily. So you do have an opportunity, a chance to throw some different things up against the wall and see if anything sticks.
Joined by Austin Price on 3 and All Quest this morning. Also, when you look at the year that Chris Brazel's had, man, what do you contribute to his I guess, breakout year that he's had? 808 yards on the season, 8 touchdowns, man. He's talking about a guy that's potentially a first-round conversation. Is the quarterback, offense, or Kelsey Pope played a huge part in that? Which one was it?
I think a little bit of both. I think the biggest thing, though, probably would be leaning quarterback. I think getting Joey Aguilar was a blessing in disguise for Chris Brazel. Brazel didn't even spend that much time with him dating back to the summer because he had that surgery in July and missed most of fall camp. But year 2 in the offense, understanding, grasping it all, and to be honest, being the veteran in the room. I mean, he was the most experienced receiver coming into the season that Tennessee had. And he's played like it. He's played fantastic. And, again, he's put himself in those conversations, as you talked about, to be a day 1 or day 2 draft pick, depending on the rest of the season and how he performs at the combine. But he's had a fantastic year and done a really nice job. But, again, if you're asking me between the two, I think it's a little bit of both, but mostly the fact that they had a change of quarterback.
And coming out of this bye, like at this portion of the season, the second one, it's really a reset to where they remember what you do in November. Football plays a huge part in this one. I think defensively is what I'm looking at also with how this team started off, that side of the ball started off the season with getting so many sacks and tackles for loss. And, you still had the third down plays that happened, but they were very much attacking. Do you kind of expect a big emphasis on that moving forward, especially with the gotta-have-it mindset of getting these last 3 games with the production of putting the quarterbacks on their back? We hadn't seen it at a volume the way I thought we would have saw a continuation also at the beginning of the season.
Well, they certainly have struggled to get to the quarterback the last few games. They were so elite early and then have kind of just slowed down dramatically the last 3 games or so. And so getting to the quarterback is going to be paramount, not this week, but really at Florida and home for Vanderbilt, being able to get to Diego Pavia and have success. And they've got to do that. They've got to play good, sound defense in the back end. They also have to, not let the quarterback break contain and make plays with his feet. And both, DJ Lagway or, the freshman of Florida or Pavia can do that. They all can make plays with their legs. And so Tennessee's not really going to be playing a statue those last two big games. So they're going to have to find a way to hold the run lane and also try to, get to the quarterback where it's not just pushing up the field like it seems like it's been the last two or three games.
Austin Price of AllQuest sit on 3, our guests this morning under Ramon and Will at Austin Priceless on Twitter. Austin, Tennessee 7th in the SEC in rushing offense at this point. How surprised are you with Tennessee's struggle in being able to run the football against SEC opponents? And what do you attribute that to? Why do you think this offense hasn't been able to run as effectively this season?
I think teams have loaded and stacked the box to take that away, and they basically said, we're going to see if Joey Aguilar can make all the right reads and beat us. And a lot of the time he's been able to do that. But if you look back to Oklahoma, they baited him into a couple of bad throws, ends up in interceptions, and that hurt Tennessee. That put them, in a tough spot. So teams are loading up to stop it. They're not letting them, count the numbers and hand it off, and they're trying to disguise things and throw different things at Tennessee. But 7th in the league is still the top half, and
sure,
it's not like a dramatic fall off. It's just down from where it's been. Tennessee will have to have a pretty dramatic close to the season if they're going to get to that magical 2,500 yard mark, which is what they've done every year under Josh Heupel here.
Austin, with Tennessee's last game against a non-conference kind of bye game opponent, we only saw 2 quarterbacks. Did not get to see George McIntyre against UAB in part because the defense couldn't get off the field late in that game. Do you expect Tennessee to correct that maybe this weekend against New Mexico State? And how important of an audition is this maybe for Jake Merklinger and George McIntyre heading into an offseason where Josh Heupel and Tennessee have a big decision to make on trusting their young talent at quarterback or going out of the transfer market and getting another veteran starter?
Well, for George, I think it can be a big jump start towards the off season. I do think he'll play. I'd expect him to play all 3, and we'll see where they go from there. But this is a quarterback room that, will probably look a little different next year. Joey Aguilar won't be here, obviously. And then you look, most people don't think Jake Merklinger will be here. And so we'll see if that ends up what, is the case. And Tennessee's quarterbacks, are going to get plenty of opportunities coming up on Saturday. But for me, George, his reps in this game are huge because you can't just miss them and get them back, right? He missed the ones he was supposed to get against UAB because the defense couldn't get off the field, and Tennessee didn't want to go in there winging it all over the lot the last 3 or 4 minutes, and they also didn't want to embarrass insult George by having him go in just to hand off. So to me, it's a big game to get him as much quality reps, quality run with quality players around him as they can.
Also, when you mentioned Jake Merklinger, I think about other situations as coaches. Have you had conversations with them on how they balance understanding a guy's going to hit the portal and how do you utilize them in practice and bye weeks and stuff like that? Because I remember earlier this year, I think it was Deion Sanders made headlines by having a reel tape put together for practice squad and guys who weren't starters on his team so they could have tape to present to the transfer portal for whenever he knew they were going to jump in. How do coaches deal with this type of living in today's football when guys are going to leave going into the offseason?
That also tells me that Deion was trying to push those kids to leave.
Yes.
Here, let's make you an audition tape.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just think ultimately, coaches are going to do what they feel like is right by the kid, what they feel like is right by the situation. And it's one of those things where I don't understand the thought process, when it comes to why they sub, when they sub, who they play, when they play in games like this. Now, regular big games, most of the time I grasp it. But, my big thing is if you don't think a player is going to be here in January, you think that player is going to leave, wasting reps on that kid this week versus someone who will be here in January just seems backwards to me. But that's me.
No doubt. Something else, I guess, that needs to make sense. The times were released already for next week's game. And I asked that question to ask, how can New Mexico State help the Vols prep for what Florida is, especially when the game times are 3:30, 7 or 7:30. It's a hard conversation because Vols got to get over that hump. Coach Heupel's got to get over that hump. He's checked a lot of boxes when it comes down to the rivals and just the stopgaps that, I guess, since 2008 all the way up to 2021, they hadn't been able to get over Austin. There has to be a level of preparation for Florida against New Mexico State, right?
I don't know what you're really prepping for more so than just like, let's go out here, see if we can be a really good tackling team again. We did a good job against Oklahoma. Let's see if we can do that 2 games in a row.
Right.
Like, let's see if we can go out here and not have any silly procedural penalties at home, much less on the road, at home, that, we've had at different points in time this year. I think that's how you prepare. It's not like, these aren't golfers in terms of, like, hey, I'm going to go to play Augusta, you've got to play, a draw off the tee. I'm going to go and hit draw shots all week long at the tournament before the Masters to get prepared. Like, it's not like, well, I'm going to throw a post against Florida, so I'm going to practice the post this week. Like, because, everything changes based off what the defense has given you. So I think the biggest thing is, playing mistake-free football. Don't turn the football over. Turn the other team over. Don't have procedural penalties. Don't have silly penalties. Don't get some kind of targeting call in the second half where somebody's going to have to miss the first half against Florida. Tackle well. Do the little things well this week. See if you can build on what you did against Oklahoma to the good and see if it, can, to quote Brent Hubbs, to stack them.
That's right.
Stack this performance.
Got to stack days.
As far as the game time against Florida, if I'm Tennessee, I'm hoping Ole Miss walks the dog with the Gators, much like Kentucky did. I think if that happens, you're looking at the 3:30 game, and I think the 3:30 game is a way better time slot than 7 or 7:30. And again, Florida's going to give you their best when they go down there in 10 days or so. But you know why? Because it doesn't matter what happened against Kentucky. It really doesn't even matter what happens this week against Ole Miss. They're going to be told next week, we've not lost to this team down here since 2003. We've not lost to this team since 2003. This team will be, this Florida team will be motivated. Tennessee will have to hit the ground running early. And if you can, give them kind of a swift uppercut early, I'm not sure they get up off the mat at that point. But they're absolutely going to come out swinging next week because they're going to know the streak of wins in Gainesville is on the line.
Austin, on the recruiting front, Tennessee gets some bad news yesterday, losing 4-star wide receiver Legend Bay to Ohio State. First of all, how important was this to Tennessee? What did they do to try to keep him? And what are the priorities left, Austin, for this 2026 class as Tennessee puts the finishing touches on it?
Well, we'll see. They've got the Carter kid that was committed to Texas A&M coming in this weekend. They've got, Dre Quinn coming in for the Vanderbilt game and a few other players coming in for that Vanderbilt weekend officially. And we'll see if they're able to add anybody between now and signing day. Obviously, the loss of Legend Bay is a blow. I mean, Ohio State is Ohio State. Their track record with skill players over the last decade or so is one that you don't sneeze at. And once the kid took the visit, you felt like that's not probably a good sign. And here we are, week and a half later or so, and he's pulled the trigger for the Buckeyes. And, you just have to move on. I do think there's a strong chance Tennessee ends up with, all of their key skill guys in town this weekend, like a Celeste Moa or Tristan Keys. I could totally see them in town for this game. against New Mexico State, last home game where Tennessee can have unofficial visitors. They won't be able to do that for the Vanderbilt game because that's their self-imposed game for unofficial visitors, not official visitors. You can have as many official visitors as you want for the Vanderbilt game, but unofficially, you can't have unofficial visitors in for that game from the Jeremy Pruitt penalties. And so, getting those players back in here this weekend would be big. And there's a lot of thought that they'll be in here this weekend. And we'll see what happens with the Dre Quinns and the Carters and all those players over the next few weeks.
He is Austin Price of All Quested on 3 Tuesdays at 8:20 here on the show with the latest out of Knoxville ahead of homecoming. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Austin.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Hey, look, we go have Ramon use the Tennessee walking horse this weekend.
Oh, good idea.
Okay, let me tell you, I love watching the Tennessee walking horse. I will be front row in the booth, okay? I usually go to the back of the studio. Absolutely not, man. I hope that horse
Binoculars
has a
on.
day. Do you hear me? Yes. I'm probably going to record it, Austin. Just don't mind me, okay? I'm fat. It's fascinating to me.
I'm talking about. I'm gonna call Mike when we get off here and see if he'll let you go down and ride the horse around the stadium.
Great. Absolutely. Every time I pass it on, I think it's this 24 coming back from Atlanta. I was like, I kind of want to stop by the training facility. It's just me.
Make some friends.
I'm a weird Tennessean at times, Austin. Don't mind me at times, okay?
All right, boys. See you next week.
See y'all.
All right, Austin. Thank you.
That's by far one of the coolest techniques ever. I think they've cleaned up the practice of getting him to do that, but I enjoy that show, though, at halftime.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Coming up, man, the Brian Kelly LSU saga continues. It is a saga in Baton Rouge that got a dramatic update, and the biggest winner is lawyers. We'll tell you why coming up next.
It's Ramon, also for Jewel Roofing and Exteriors, man. Jewel Roofing and Exteriors have been family owned and locally trusted for 25 plus years, man. Being locally owned for that long, man, tells you a lot about the business that they do. They're proudly based right here in Middle Tennessee also. They've been serving communities everywhere, from Clarksville to Murfreesboro, so they got you covered in between, man. The owner, Robbie Van Norman, by the way, is one of the best dudes out, man. Lives right in Hendersonville. He's a local guy. He understands this area. He understands you also. They're very experienced. You don't have to worry about dealing with an out-of-town crew at all. Here's what they do, why you need to choose them. They don't do door knocking or storm chasing. You guys know what it's like. As soon as the big storm come around, you see the big companies come in and try to get you to submit a claim so they can repair your roof. No, this is what they believe in. They believe in building relationships, educating homeowners like myself. They came by on my roof about a couple of weeks ago. I had a couple issues up there. And here's the thing about it. They were very honest about it. There was just like, hey, you got 1 or 2 issues up here. We fixed it. You're good to go. I asked them how long my roof would last. They said, oh, you're good for a while. That's what they believe. They're not trying to just pull money from you or have you in an inconvenient situation. They believe this. You'll either use them when you need them now or 10 years when you actually do need a roof, man. The trustworthiness is what I enjoy about their process and dealing with Jewel Roofing, man. Listen, if you want a local company that does business the right way and that you can believe in, simply go to their website at jewelroofing.com, or you can call them at 615-868-9999 or go to jewelroofing with 2 L's.com.
Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5. The Zone rolls on. I just destroyed my pinky finger in this chair.
How?
It was terrible. I had my hand on the armrest thing, and then I sat up, and the armrest went up into the counter. My finger got smushed.
What's worse, pinky finger or pinky toe?
Yes.
Yes.
They're both worse. That is also how LSU administration feels, trying to save money on Brian Kelly. They just keep stubbing their toe.
Yeah, they do.
In a legal filing against LSU's Board of Supervisors, Brian Kelly's attorneys last night say LSU has taken the position that it has not formally terminated Kelly as the Tigers head coach. So LSU, according to the petition, is seeking to fire Brian Kelly for cause and potentially avoid paying a full buyout of nearly $54 million. The filing claims that LSU informed Brian Kelly's representatives of this position on Monday. ESPN obtained a copy of the lawsuit saying LSU's representatives had a call with Coach Kelly's representatives where LSU took the position that Coach Kelly had not been formally terminated and informed Coach Kelly's representatives for the very first time that LSU believed grounds for termination for cause existed. How in the world are they going to pull this off?
Because they just don't like him?
Yeah, it's literally the Michael Scott with Toby. It's I have cause. It is because I hate him. Can you save money on a fake accent?
Oh, my God.
Is that cause to terminate Brian Kelly? So he was fired October 26th, one day after their loss to Texas A&M, 49-25. Yeah. At the time, his dismissal was performance-related. According to Scott Woodward, the then AD, in a statement saying, "We had high hopes that he would lead us to multiple SEC and national championships. Ultimately, the success at that level that LSU demands simply did not materialize. The suit does not specify who from LSU spoke to Kelly's representatives or what could constitute a for-cause dismissal. But, Ramon, LSU's trying to save a big chunk of change."
Well, they should have thought about that before they engaged in a contract like this with him. They had all hopes and dreams for a guy. That sounds like bad hiring practices by LSU more than it is just malpractice on his end. He did. His job was to coach the team. Were they trash? I mean, that sounds like an experience on the job type of situation. There's no cause here. And why haven't they officially fired him? Are they waiting for him to say something publicly, too, so that they can have calls?
Well, he has spoken publicly, but that wouldn't be cause to get money back.
That's what I'm saying.
They're trying to do what Tennessee did with Jeremy Pruitt.
Pruitt had, real violations.
Right, but Tennessee investigated those violations themselves, knowing what was going on, and save some money in the process. It's kind of a chicken or the egg situation.
I can't even start to blame Brian Kelly other than the fact that he underperformed as a coach.
Right.
Was he flagrant with the money spent in NIL? Well, you can't say that unless they got records of him going to a Bayou strip club somewhere and taking prospects to it. Then they just going to have to pay that man his $50+ million at this point. Mm-hmm. This is the only issue that Brian Kelly can run into is publicly having the governor speak out against the job in which he's done and how they've gone about this process. But the law is the law. I'm not sure if they're going to try to find a dirty courthouse somewhere to say, hey, can you push this through to say Brian Kelly has done this? I would hate for that to be the case because then you lose all trust with anybody that takes that job and how you conduct contracts.
That's what my next question was, is how does this impact the candidate pool of people who will be interested in this job in the future?
It makes negotiating the language in the contract. Let's say they go after Lane, and I'm probably guessing Brian Kelly, and let's say they got the same agent. That's the other issue that they have to run into.
They don't, actually.
They don't.
Trace Armstrong is Brian Kelly's agent, not Jimmy Sexton.
Understood. But these guys, all these lawyers and agents are reading through this. They're going to try to protect themselves beyond any means that LSU's ever had moving forward. I'm sure it's the same thing for Coach Heupel, his staff, and his crew on how he negotiated with the Jeremy Pruitt's, calls.
Right. Except there was actually cause in that one. That was stated. When Tennessee fired Jeremy Pruitt for cause, with cause, you knew what the cause was. We have no idea what the cause is for LSU.
You can't renege on this.
So, again, in the ESPN.com article about it, Coach Kelly's representatives informed LSU that Coach Kelly disagreed with each of LSU's new positions including 1, the idea that he somehow had not been terminated, 2, that the then athletics director Scott Woodward was not acting with authority in a meeting attended by several LSU athletics officials, including the current athletics director, and 3, that there were any grounds for termination with cause where the LSU could manufacture any such grounds after his termination, thus necessitating this action. So the filing pushes back on those 3 points that it says LSU brought up on the call. So that's what LSU told Brian Kelly's representatives, was that 1, he had not been terminated, 2, Scott Woodward was not acting with authority, and 3, that there were grounds for termination. Good luck, LSU.
Good luck.
This screams 2 things to me. 1, it screams 1 thing. They need that money to go hire a better head coach than Brian Kelly.
This is also where LSU got caught slipping. Like, I ain't gonna say they should have given Brian Kelly more time, but to push him out the way they did as quick as they have with that buyout, they knew this.
But you have to have a plan. That's the point I'm making is that if you're going to spend that money, you better also have new money to upgrade. Otherwise, you're just throwing money into the levee. You're just burning cash.
Yeah.
It's one thing to buy out a coach. What money do you have to replace said coach? This screams, hey, I may have had fired coach money. I don't have new coach money. So let's see if I can save on the fired coach money. That way I can actually go get an upgrade on the guy that I just fired.
There's a phone number that I give out often. It's 1-800-CALL of all. Like, we've dealt with this. But again, in this blood sport of coaching carousels and wins and losses and legitimate games versus illegitimate games when it comes down to the college football playoffs, this is caused by these schools making these types of moves right here. This is, I don't want to call LSU flagrant, and it's hard in my mind to think that it's hard in my mind to believe LSU won't get right from this. But to your point, if you don't have the money, $100 million basically is what you're looking for. The 54 for him plus the new staff and portal and everything
else.
Roster,
right? To your point.
And the roster.
For sure.
This is how you get behind as a school.
Yeah, it is.
I do think some coaches deserve to be fired, but I think sometimes at schools like business and as far as the way sports go, you got to give people a little bit more time. And I know Brian Kelly's had enough. Did he really? I mean, when you look at the situation that they're in right now.
They did not make the wrong decision by firing him. I think their plan after firing him has been the problem. I think 2 things can be true there.
Yeah. $100 million. They better go find it.
If I'm Lane Kiffin, I want no part of this. No part of this.
He's in a great situation.
I don't think he's leaving Ole Miss. I don't think that Florida or LSU are significant upgrades on what he has right now. I think LSU is on paper in terms of job status. Florida, less so, but still, like on paper, Florida has a better job, obviously, than Ole Miss. But I don't know. Stability and comfort matter to some coaches. And I think in Lane Kiffin's stage of life, and where he is right now with his family, with his daughter, with his just fit in Oxford, I don't see any reason you would leave that for this fiasco in Baton Rouge.
I almost got this weekend. I saw people tweeting out a no 3
Yeah, it's
article.
a fake. It's a fake on 3 parody.
Yeah, saying it was a $4 million extension. I was just like, wait, hold on.
You gotta look out for the fake accounts this time of year.
I'm talking about numerous
fake reporters are everywhere. It's Pete Nokos on No 3 Sports is what it's called. Instead of Pete Nakos at On 3 Sports.
Like, that don't even make sense.
It's pretty ridiculous that people can get away with that and make it look so realistic. But separate conversation.
Yeah, it is.
Hour 4, when we come back, Cam Ward is on pace to set the wrong kind of record. We'll tell you what changes the Titans are trying to make out of the bye week to get the best out of Cam Ward and their offense coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls, man. They are healthcare designed for your life. And they absolutely mean that by offering up services to you 7 days a week. That's Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. They have same-day appointments available, next day guaranteed. Also, you can go to their website, as I just told you, at medicalhousecalls.com. But here's the thing about it. The process is simple. You could call or text them, and that team will assess what you need within minutes. You can book your visit, and after quick chat, they will schedule it and come to wherever you are. That's the best part about it. We understand it. Work has you to where you can't get to an appointment, or the kids, or the fact that you've just been busy. You need somebody at this time on this day to come see you and get you fixed. Well, listen, for a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, full exam, treatment plan, and prescriptions if you need it. They work from everything from sicknesses, infections, injuries, your in-home lab testings, and more. Whatever you need, they can do for you at your doorstep. If you need IV therapy, they can do that. They can also be your primary care physicians, man. They're just simply good. Unlimited house calls also, 24/7 telehealth, priority IV therapy, and annual physicals. People, I'm telling you, go get checked out. We worry about the outside a lot, but get the inside taken care of too. Trust me with this one, man. MedicalHouseCalls.com, or you can call or text this number at 615-838-2375 and tell them Ramon sent you.
9:02, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. Week 10 of the NFL season wrapped up last night. Monday Night Football in Green Bay as the Eagles beat the Packers 10-7. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts threw for 183 yards and a touchdown in the win as they improved to 7-2 on the season. Packers kicker Brandon McManus missed a last-second 64-yard field goal to tie it up. In Titans news yesterday, running back Khalil Mullings and safety Mike Brown have been designated to return from injured reserve, which officially opens up their 21-day return to play window. In other NFL news, the Giants yesterday fired head coach Brian Daboll 10 games into his fourth NFL season as head coach. Offensive coordinator Mike Kafka will serve as the interim head coach. Daboll is the second head coach fired this season, and the Giants are 2-8 so far through 10 weeks. The Bengals have designated quarterback Joe Burrow to return from injured reserve 2 months after his surgery to repair a grade 3 turf toe injury that he suffered back in week 2. Burrow has 21 days to return to play. And Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson will be sidelined the next 3 to 4 weeks. Surgery is not required, and he's not been placed on injured reserve at this time. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour. Hope you're having a great Tuesday morning. Hope we can make it maybe like a 0.5% better. I know it would make our day a 1% better. If you head on to YouTube, search 1045 The Zone, click on our page, youtube.com/1045 The Zone TV, and hit subscribe. It's going to take like 1 second. Remember, like in school, when they would tell you if you moved your finger, you were burning a calorie?
Yeah.
Maybe you can burn 1 calorie by subscribing to the 1045 The Zone YouTube channel.
Yeah. I actually have never heard that one right there before.
Okay.
No.
Well, maybe it is bulking season now that it's cold, so maybe you don't want to burn
I will tell them one thing, and you and I have to pass this off to them, that will make you burn calories because there's so much suspense.
What's that?
That's The Diplomat on Netflix.
No, it's good, isn't it? I'm so glad you like it.
Woo!
Yeah, The Diplomat is fantastic.
Hey.
I finished it late last week, I think after you were gone. One of those where I was up late watching the episode before the last episode and was like, well, what's another 30 minutes of sleep? Let's go ahead and rip another one. And I just watched the finale. You are in for a wild ride, my friend.
Listen.
Wild ride.
It is, if you're looking for, I wouldn't even call it a thinking show, a suspenseful show.
Oh, it's smart. It's suspenseful. It's well written. It's funny.
It's everything that you want a show to be. Like, that show has motivated me to go back and look at Mad Men again because I love those types. They got storylines and continuations and hang cliffs and everything else. Oh, my gosh, what a show. You and Mike Keefe told me about this. You didn't disappoint. I was going to talk bad to y'all if y'all were wrong on this one. So
I've not led you astray yet on TV shows.
You have not.
You know, I'm not a movie person, but I am very much a TV show person. Like current TV show person.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean from the Americans. But listen, go look at it.
Yeah, a commenter asked, is that the show with the chick from Americans? I don't know. I've not seen Americans.
Either way, what's the main star in that? What's her name?
Carrie Russell.
Carrie Russell is in it.
Yes, that is who that commenter is talking about.
Dog. That show is good.
Very good.
I'm about to go start it back over with my wife because, like, I don't want to finish. So I'm going to watch it again.
Okay.
2 episodes and just go from there.
You ain't seen nothing yet. You're early into it.
You keep saying that.
I know. It gets even better. Gets even better.
Say less.
About to start Pluribus also as well. It's a Rita Seahorn show. It's starting to come out on Apple. I've not started it yet. The only 2 episodes are out, and they come out every week. It's a Vince Gilligan show. From the people who brought us Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Okay.
Kim Wexler. Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yes, I did. Love
Kim Wexler in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Oh, not Breaking Bad. In Better Call Saul, Kim, the blonde lady,
that was the
lead in a new show with the creators of Breaking Bad. So.
I also watched this documentary on the airplane. Was it The Perfect Neighbor? I think is what it was.
I've not seen that.
And boy, it's done. It's a crime docu. The storyline is from police cams and people's cell phone footage and stuff.
Okay.
What a terrible, terrible situation that was, man.
Okay.
The Perfect Neighbor, I think is the name of it.
I got you.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Pro Football Talk yesterday with some stats that are not great for the Titans offense. Things to fix out of the bye week. Cam Ward is on pace to set the NFL record for sack yardage lost in a season. Cam Ward has been sacked 38 times, Ramon, for 295 yards in 9 games. That is 100 more yards than Raiders quarterback Geno Smith has on 27 sacks. That puts Cam Ward this season on pace for 72 sacks and 557 yards. The NFL record is 489. David Carr took 76 sacks in 2002. Randall Cunningham lost 489 yards on sacks in 1986. No quarterback in NFL history, Ramon, has ever taken more than 500 yards of sack yardage in one season. Cam Ward is on pace for 557. Something that's got to get corrected out of the bye week.
It does. It's a matter of where he's taking them at, too, and him trying to get out of bad situations where this lost yardage is taking place. Like, he's a never-die type of quarterback. You got to give him credit for that. Like I said, the will of him playing a position is freaking phenomenal. But there's a point where you just take your losses, throw the football away if you can. Like him getting smashed up the middle, that's a different conversation. But that rolling left, rolling right, trying to find work down the field and getting dragged down, there's a reality that these players aren't college players. It's the NFL. They're going to be quicker. They close on you fast. They understand the angles in which you're trying to escape. They watch everything about you, Cam. Like, that's the part of his game to where the smarts have to be. They got to take over and just take your losses, throw it into the ground, or throw it away. Percentage already isn't where you want it to be. I mean, don't hurt the team by taking those deeper sacks in that. I looked up, too, the most sacks given up by an NFL team in a single season. Boy, the Philadelphia Eagles have come a long way. 104 in 1986.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that was the year Randall Cunningham set the record for sack yardage lost in the season.
Yeah.
489. Cam is on pace for 557. Mike McCoy was asked yesterday, what changes can you make with Cam Ward out of the bye week? And the Titans interim head coach had this to say.
In my current role, I'm more involved with him. So, I can, I met with him this morning and I sat down with him and I had made a tape for him to kind of look at after watching all the tapes and kind of saying, hey, here's some things I think you could look at and from my perspective, and here's some things you can mechanically clean up. And it's not going to just happen overnight because he's done it a certain way, like we've talked about a number of times, thousands of times, but just little things, whether it's pocket movements, whether it's release points, target line. There's a number of different things you talk about, decision making, all those things, doing the next best thing when something's not there. You guys always ask about him taking off and running. That's one thing, I got an opportunity this weekend to sit around and watch the games. You see a lot of those, the quarterbacks, all of a sudden it's not there and they take off and run, and it's a positive play. They're staying ahead and down in distance. So there's a number of things that I kind of talk to him about now on a daily basis, whether it's after a practice, you just go up to him and say, hey, that's that one I talked to you about. Hey, if you just stay on the move instead of trying to force it, it's 2nd and 6 instead of being, 2nd and 10, things like that. So there's constant communication with him. But the great thing with Cam is that he wants to be great, and he wants that input on a daily basis.
That's Titans interim head coach Mike McCoy yesterday. What's got to happen, Ramon, for Cam to make improvements out of the bye week, starting this weekend against the Houston Texans? Where can we see growth for Cam Ward?
Just finding a pace, first and second down. I think that's the first part of it is take the underneath when it's there. I think now if I'm scouting Cam and this Tennessee Titans offense, I think there are outlets that they know are there and available to him, but he's going to go for the gusto. That never die attitude that Coach just spoke about, Coach Mike McCoy spoke about, is on his runs. It is, okay, I'm going to stop and get this 30-yard completion instead of this 8-yard run. There has to be a point, and I think he has to get there is what I will say.
Yeah.
And where he starts to understand, I just need to be on the field. We got to hold this ball.
Keep it moving.
Move those chains. And that's hearing Mike McCoy kind of say that a little bit is, I think it was the Van Jefferson pass. There may have been something there where he could have run it, but he chose to try to plant his feet and throw down the field. Every meal isn't a feast. It's kind of what you're going to have to tell him. Boring ball means consistency at times. It means keeping your offense so where they can catch a rhythm. To be fair to all parties involved in this, it's hard to be good when you're on the sideline. Or as a coach, you're just guessing 3 plays and hoping that it gets you the first down. I agree with Coach Mike McCoy. You watch some of those quarterbacks this past weekend, Drake May being one of them, running to the sticks, getting out of bounds, having Daniel Jones with a bloody mouth because he's trying to get a first down, in situations. That's a part of it also that I'm not sure what he was told beforehand, but the learning of that has to take over at some point.
Cam Ward is averaging a loss of 7.8 yards per sack and is being sacked more than 4 times per game on average. The Titans are last in points scored per game at 14.4 and last in the NFL in third down conversions. You got to eliminate the disaster play. And that is the MO for me for the Titans for the rest of this season. How do you raise the floor of what a bad play looks like? Because we're starting to raise the ceiling of what good plays look like. The pick 6 by Cody Barton, the sacks that this defense is starting to accumulate. But then the big explosive runs. Then it's the big penalty in a critical moment. Then it is missing tackles with a quarterback getting outside the pocket. It's getting too vertical on pass rush lanes and leaving a gaping hole in the middle of the defense. The same can be said about the offense. We're starting to see more explosivity from Chimere Dike. We're starting to see Tajay Spears take 5 to 10 yard angle routes and screens and checkdowns and turn them into explosive plays. Eliminating the bottom 5% or just making that bottom 5% just a little bit better. That to me does wonders for this offense. The way that happens is by Cam Ward being more decisive and speeding up his processing ability. That's the problem with Cam that concerns me the most, is that what we saw in training camp and in the offseason hasn't translated. Calvin Ridley told us at one point in training camp, I remember because I was standing right next to him, said his processing speed is uncommon for a rookie.
Right.
It's uncommonly quick. It's of no total fault to Cam. As bad as things have been for him and around him, I think he started to second-guess himself even more as the season has gone. If you're going to make a mistake, it's better for you to make it quickly and turn some of these 7.8 yards per sack numbers into 2, 3, 4 yard sacks. That's the kind of growth. I'm not worried about the big explosives. I'm not worried about going on a crazy 2-minute drive at the end of halves. Can we just make the sacks a little bit less? Is really not a very high bar, Ramon. And that's literally where we're going to have to start. Because this offense has struggled so much to show any level of consistency. The first question you ask, if you're them out of the bye week, to me, is how do we eliminate the disaster that's just totally not giving us a chance and throwing away most of our playbook by the time we get to third down?
It's hard living. And then it's worse on your defense, too. Whenever there's less grass that they have to defend, if you're taking these sacks like that too. That's the other part of the lost yardage on sacks that makes sense, or that doesn't make sense, is the defense has a shorter field to defend, especially when it comes down to punting the ball in the other direction. It really does work hand to hand. And at some point, like I said, the thought of being and playing the quarterback position has to be at the forefront of almost everything else. We know you're the leader. We know you're vocal. We know you work hard. That's where sometimes a loss ain't a loss. Punt it away and give yourself an opportunity again. Or, like you said, take that check down.
Yeah.
What would you guess his 40 is real quick? About a 4.8
Cam
probably?
Ward's?
About a 4.8?
Oh, the problem is we've not seen him run enough. I don't know. I've seen him scramble and try to shuffle away from defenders, but how often have we seen Cam Ward at a full sprint this season with the ball in his hands? Really, never.
Never.
I have no clue what he runs for a 40.
15 years ago, this wasn't a conversation, but now I think it does have to be one.
We're very data-driven as NFL fans.
Yeah, very much so.
And as college football fans. Coming up, Don Davenport's going to join us. Television's Don Davenport, as heard, of course, on 3HL. I want to ask Don, as someone who has spent a lot of time around Cam Ward, as she has and interviewed him and obviously covering this team and interviewing him last season. What did Shannon Dawson do to set him up for success when coaches and coordinators have to be so hands-off with the off-script stuff? What kind of personality of a head coach is going to work best for Kay Ward? We'll talk a little bit of college football. Maybe try to find her Auburn Tigers a coach as well. Don Davenport joins us after this.
Is your concrete in need of repair? Maybe your sidewalk has shifted on you. Your driveway cracked and sinking, or your porch steps have moved also, where now you're stepping up and you're kind of tripping yourself. Well, it's probably because the porch steps have shifted on you. Shifting concrete can create a dangerous situation and just trip hazard around your home. It's also just a big eyesore. It's Ramon Foster, and whatever is going on with your concrete, call United Structural Systems. Ask them about their polyurethane foam injections. You've heard about USS for a long time. It's the same company that's provided superior foundation repair and waterproofing to Middle Tennessee since 1994. Well, they can also fix your sunken or settling concrete. USS uses polyurethane foam injections to lift and repair your sinking concrete in a matter of minutes. Lifted concrete can be walked on immediately or even driven on after about 30 minutes. So don't go through that long, expensive process of ripping out and replacing concrete. Reach out to the company that I trust, and that's USS. You can go to their website at USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. Or call them, 615-488-7855, United Structural Systems.
Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee, continues on this fine Tuesday morning with Ramon Foster back from Mexico. Myself, Will Bolding. We are joined by 3HL's, television's, ESPN's Don Davenport this morning. You know her as Babs, of course, from 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. Good morning, Don. How are you?
Good morning, boys. How are you guys?
Hey, Babs.
We're good. We're going to try to find you.
Wait, whoa. Mexico?
Yeah.
What are you doing going on vacation during football season? That's not allowed.
Babs, check me out. If I'm out here gone somewhere, it's never for leisure. It's for work, okay? I'm just like you. We are one and the same, Babs. This is why we do this thing right here, is because I get you. See, you went to the West Coast, and I said, you know what? I'm going to follow Babs.
The Steelers had a watch party there, and Ramon was an esteemed guest.
I was.
Okay. All right. It's work related. We'll give you that.
Is that fine? Is that okay with you?
We'll give you that.
What did you do? That's the real question. What did you do this weekend?
Oh, well, your girl got up to get on 5 a.m. flights to get out to the West Coast. This government shutdown. I'm like, I better fly early if I'm going to make it. So,
Get the responsible pilots.
That was rough. I know I've had 3 West Coast trips this year, and they're getting me. They're getting me, but that's all right.
That's fair. Well, who have you made a deal with to get so many good games this year, Dawn? I feel like you, every single time I am tuning in and seeing you on the sideline somewhere, somebody is scoring in overtime or with 2 seconds left, or something is happening very late in a game to win. You've had some barn burners.
Is that not crazy? So our crew, so just for people that don't know, like ESPN keeps football crews together, so that way you develop chemistry, you know your crew, it's a lot easier. So our crew is known as the F crew, and we have had 3 overtime games and 2 more that honestly probably should have been overtime games. It's nuts. Like, it's the running joke in ESPN that, oh, hey, close game, spread 7.5, doesn't matter. F crew has it. It's going down to the wire. So yeah. I don't know what the deal is, but it's been absolutely crazy. I know from a gambling standpoint, the underdog has either covered or outright won in all of our games this year except for one, and that was Cincinnati. And it was close in that one. I mean, they didn't cover till the end of the fourth quarter. So yeah.
That's incredible.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Well, Don, you had a very good game, including Cam Ward last season. I know you've spoken a lot about your experience with Cam, getting to talk with him, getting to talk with Mario Cristobal, Shannon Dawson, that whole staff a season ago. And as the Titans look for a head coach for Cam Ward, I was talking to some people about this yesterday. What is the kind of personality the Titans are going to have to match with Cam? We talked about Brian Daboll getting fired earlier and his kind of fiery alpha personality maybe being an offensive coordinator match with Cam. Do you see Cam just kind of working with anyone, or what is the type that you feel like is going to be important for the Titans to find for him, whether that be as an offensive coordinator with a defensive head coach or as an offensive-minded head coach?
Okay, I love that question because I can look back at some of the coaches Cam has had, and they're completely different. Sure. For example, North Texas, Eric Morris, who, recruited him, he played for him at Incarnate Word. I've chatted with Coach Morris a million times about Cam and all of that. And then, Morris had Chandler Morris last year at North Texas. He's got another great quarterback this year. Like, he's a quarterback whisperer. At least his offense is super successful in college, no matter who his quarterback is. But Eric Morris is super laid back, kind of quiet, like not an in-your-face kind of guy, kind of coach. He's definitely a player's coach. He is 100% that. Well, then you look at Miami and Mario Cristobal. I mean, let's be honest. We just saw him and Fran Brown almost go throw punches at each other. Mario Cristobal is so alpha. He's got that Cuban background that he talks about, just gritty and I've fought for everything that I've gotten, and in your face, he's going to tell you about it. He is very confident, and some people would say arrogant. completely opposite from Eric Morris. Well, guess what? Cam Ward succeeded and loves both of those guys. So I think you look at Cam, I think he's chameleon from that standpoint. And honestly, his personality is so much of, I just want to win and I just want to get better, that anybody that can do that for him, anybody that he feels has the knowledge and the tools to teach and develop him and make him better so that they can win games, he's going to respond to, because you've seen in the past. I mean, how many different, even Jake Dickert, who has Wake Forest bowl eligible, by the way. Crazy. But even him, he's a completely different personality from Mario Cristobal. He's very much a player's coach. He's a little bit more fiery than Eric Morris, but you just see all these different coaches. Now, the one common thread in them, if you bring in Shannon Dawson and all that, is that offensively, they run the quick offense. They let him make plays. They played to his strengths, and they are all sound offensive minds. That's kind of the common thread. But personality-wise, I think Cam's a chameleon. He will be all in on anybody that can help them win.
Babs, and we're joined by Dawn Davenport, a.k.a. Babs at 3HL, and many other jobs that she has on weekends this time of the year. Babs, with that being said, when you look at the way Cam has been here, is it pretty much just a lack of, adjustment to the NFL game? Because you've seen him play, you've interviewed him, you've talked to him, and that style is fine, but there seems to be a little bit more that you have to play in a box when it comes down to the NFL, though. Do you think it's that?
Absolutely, I think it's that. And you know better than any of us talking because you played the game for so long. But I think sometimes we forget the difference from college to NFL. I mean, the more condensed spacing, it's 60 feet from the boundary in college, and, you've got an extra 10 to 11 feet. I think it's strictly him getting used to the speed. The defenders pick up tendencies quicker, the closing speed, the difference there in the NFL, obviously the protection issue from offensive line issues, but he's college through to receivers between the hash marks in college all the time. The windows are quicker. He's got to move linebackers with his eyes. He didn't have to do that as much in college from his playmaking ability. He's able to get by without maybe doing some of that. And I really do think it's just the transition and the difference of the game. And sometimes we forget how easy it is to spot pressure in college from the quarterback position, right? And perfect example is because I'm working some of these games where these offenses are, super quick, up tempo. I mean, look at Josh Heupel's offense, right? From a defense standpoint, you're not seeing a bunch of crazy things. You're just not, because defenses don't have a lot of time to adjust in the play on the field. You know what I mean? And that is a big difference from college to the NFL. And I think he's just struggling with that transition right now. And we also forget, hey, he's had now 2 different play callers, had a head coach who was fired. He's had multiple injuries on the guys that are supposed to be protecting him up front. He's had guys drop balls. He's, not seeing things clearly in there's just so many factors that I look at it and I think, okay, this is all just that transition and that speed of the NFL still getting to him. He still hasn't adjusted completely to it. Is that fair? Ramon, I know I'm still in on Cam Ward. I know you're not necessarily 100% on Cam Ward yet. Jury's still out. Yeah. I'm still in on him. I just think I am surprised that the transition to the speed and the defenses in the NFL has taken him so long to adjust to. I'm surprised by that, but I still have confidence that it can happen.
Simply because you get me going whenever I come on your show every Thursday, I'm going to do the same to you because I got you right now. Some, not all, small, maybe 30 to 100 people are saying that they would take Fernando Mendoza into this draft if the Titans get the number 1 overall pick. Where are you at on even having that conversation of drafting again at the quarterback position if you're really trying to do what's right for your team? Do it, Bab.
For Fernando Mendoza?
Yeah.
No. No. That's to me, that is absolutely absurd. I mean, okay, what are you getting in Fernando Mendoza that you don't think that you could have in Cam Ward?
Another shot at it.
Another shot at it? I see.
And it's that time of the year, you know it, where all things are very high in college. The Heisman conversation, winning. Yeah. Indiana's doing stuff they've never. Shout out to your husband Travis. And Indiana's doing stuff they've never done before. So you look at the guy that's behind center.
Yeah. Well, but I also covered him when he was at Cal and they won, 5 games. So, there's. I mean, you got to look at the whole big picture. Although I'll say this, I love Mendoza. He is he's next level, little different. You can tell in some of his press conferences, right? Yes. But perfect example, worked a Cal game last year when he was the quarterback, and I'm watching him the day before, and he's on the field all by himself, no ball in his hand, nothing, but just going through every single play on the field, all by himself, helmet on, shorts and a t-shirt on, and eyes closed at certain times. And I'm like, what is he doing? I mean, all by himself. That he does it every day before a game. It's his mental preparation. So he went on this huge mental preparation kick and what he had to do to better his mind to be a better football player last year. And just footwork, all of it, sometimes with his eyes closed, no ball in his hand. I mean, for an hour, he did it all by himself out there. So I love the kid. I think he's legit from that standpoint, but I look at the positives that you have seen from Cam Ward. Now, Titans fans, do we wish that there were more at this point? Absolutely. But honestly, you also got to look at his lack of weapons. And people came at me on Twitter when I said this too, because, I went after our boy Buck because he was like, is it time to have a conversation about Cam Ward? I'm like, you are so ridiculous, Buck. So ridiculous. But people came at me and were like, oh, well, he does have targets. He has DK and Gunner. And I'm like, these are all rookies. We are talking about rookies in a transition to the NFL. And you're telling me that's, oh, look, he does have great targets. Come on. We got to keep it real here. And listen, DK is going to be amazing, right? I'm all about it. But also, I just think you look at what's around him, you look at some of the pluses and some of the highlights of what he has done and what he can do with his arm, and that the dice, the roll of the dice is there on the positive side to not talk about drafting Fernando Mendoza to replace him. That's me.
You're preaching a good word.
Understood.
It's very fair. Dawn, we have 2 more minutes with you, and I've got a 2-part question in the college football coaching world. One of them really both of them local, because you were a part of the massive Auburn fandom in the city of Nashville that I always joke.
Why you got to ruin my day?
Well, I know, but I mean, you almost pulled it off on Saturday. And again, I say this all the time as a joke, but I'm really not joking. It's the second biggest SEC fan base in Nashville, the Auburn fan base. I'm not joking at all when I say that.
No, you're right.
Who are you going to hire?
Yeah. War Eagle, everybody.
Yes, of course. Who are you going to hire? And B, does it move the needle for you at all that Vandy hasn't extended Clark Lee yet?
No, and no, and no. And I have no idea who we're going to hire. And some Auburn fans have come at me on Twitter and said, oh, we need to hire DJ Durkin. No, we do not.
Oh, no.
Absolutely do not.
Agreed.
Gotta get an offensive head coach in there. And I know everybody can sit here and say, oh, well, you did with Hugh and Brian Harsin, and that didn't work. Well, first of all, Brian Harsin was a terrible fit. And I knew it I worked his very first spring game. It was right after COVID. And I remember thinking, this guy just does not fit here. Maybe he'll be successful, but there's something missing. He doesn't get it. Just like Brian Kelly wouldn't have fit at LSU. There is absolutely something to be said for fit. Harsin wasn't it. Maybe the game has passed Hugh by. I say that about Gus Malzahn. When he was at UCF, I'm like, maybe the game has passed him by from an offensive standpoint. So for me, for Auburn, I don't know who it is. I don't know. I feel like there's so many openings and there's not enough great candidates. But I have confidence that Auburn is a great job. You've got the money, you've got the NIL backing, you have all of that. but you got the history. I mean, it's Auburn, right?
Sure.
And maybe that's me being partial, but
I would agree.
But I say got to get a fresher offensive mind in there. John Sumrall has come up numerous times because of and I covered him while he was at Troy. Love his offensive philosophy, love his coaching style, love his connections and reactions to players. And then since he was at Troy and completely turned that program around, he's familiar with areas for recruiting. Now, obviously, it'll be a different level recruiting, but there's a lot of familiarity there. So Sumrall's name comes up when I think of younger, offensive, fresh mind for Auburn.
Fair. Now, the other part of my question, Don, is why hasn't Vandy extended Clark Lee yet?
That's a great question.
Because it's time.
It is time. I'm sure, I will say this, Candace Story-Lee has been busy because her soccer team just won an SEC championship.
That is true.
Yep. I've called a couple of volleyball games for them in their inaugural season. She is there at every single one, sitting on the front row, cheering for them. So she's very busy. Give her some time. I'm sure she'll get to work.
Okay.
Or is he looking, Babs? Do you think he has to look?
Absolutely. We have this conversation all the time in our family. You have to do what is best for your family. And if that is making sure that you're taken care of or you have opportunities, you're always willing to listen. And you never know, like some things happen for a reason, and maybe there's a great opportunity that you never even thought of. So absolutely, he's listening. He should be talking and all of that. I know the black and gold runs through his blood. So I'm sure that has something to do. But it brings up Coach Key at Georgia Tech, right? Yeah. I mean, that dude loves Georgia Tech. Like, he's not leaving. I mean, he left Alabama to be an offensive line coach at his alma mater under Jeff Collins. Like, that's how much he loves Georgia Tech. So does Clark Lee love Vanderbilt to that extent? I don't know, because Brent Key has been very vocal about it. We'll see if Clark's vocal about it like that.
Don Davenport of 3HL and ESPN of everywhere, literally talking into microphones 7 days a week here with us, 3 to 6, 3HL later today. Thank you, Don. We appreciate
Babs.
All right. Love you, boys. Welcome back, Ramon.
Thank you. Same to you. I hear you got the sniffles. Go ahead and get it took care of now before the weekend. I hear you.
No, I've made it this far from football season. Let's hope that we can make it to the end.
I have a new remedy that I swear by that I will text you that got me from not having the sniffles within like 12 hours a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Is it going to make me vomit?
Maybe.
That's not
it's not. No. I have critical instructions for you coming your way.
Okay. Send it my way. I'll just have to relive my fireball shot days in college or something.
Perfect. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, Babs.
All right.
All right, Don Davenport with us this morning.
Girl, she's so cool.
I need that remedy to give us the opportunity for us to shout them out on the air.
Yeah.
But until they do, it will be a private shout out, not a public shout out. Coming up, wrapping up the show, headlines. I have read one of the most heinous columns ever. But honestly, if this columnist gets his way, it could be great news for the Tennessee Titans. Coming up next.
No doubt.
I love living in Middle Tennessee. We've got great restaurants, entertainment, sports, and one of the nation's top Ford dealers right here in our backyard, Two Rivers Ford. Remember that name. Two Rivers has been a staple in our community since 1983. They're locally owned. They have a non-commissioned sales team, and they sell below MSRP. They've been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Ramon and Will wrapping up the show and your Tuesday morning. Thank you to Don Davenport. Thank you, of course, to Austin Price as well. And thank you to you. If you're listening to the sounds of our voices right now, it means you've come to the right place, either live with us on the air or time traveling on the 104.5 The Zone Podcast Network. We appreciate you wherever you get us. This column from Matt Schneidman, Green Bay Packers beat writer for The Athletic, is egregious. But I wanted to happen so badly, what he's asking for.
Talk to me, Will.
Matt LaFleur might be coaching for his job the rest of the season. My column, he says on Twitter. An excerpt reads, Jeff Hafley is coordinating a championship defense. Jeff Hafley being former Boston College head coach and Packers defensive coordinator. LaFleur's offense is far from that caliber. That might need to change over the next 2 months for him to keep his job. Green Bay. Guys, here, come in close here, Green Bay. Packers. Please do this. Please allow the Titans to hire Matt LaFleur. Please. Pretty please.
You need this.
There's no way that's going to happen.
You need this.
No way that's going to happen. But I want it to. So please happen. Thanks. That's it.
It's that part of it. Why are they here? Because of last night one performance? Him writing this?
Hard to be boring and bad. 10-7 loss.
I mean, we're talking about one of the better teams, I think, in the end of the season, that this won't be a bad loss.
We should put that on a T-shirt for this show.
Don't be boring and bad.
Don't be boring and bad.
I'm here for it.
Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee, 104.5.
You stated that for a long time. I remember when Coach Heupel got hired. That was one of the first things you said. At least it'll be exciting. It won't be boring and bad. You said that, and we've been, well, yeah, I've taken it from you, too.
It's true. I mean, it's a way to live in sports.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But that also just shows the impatience that everybody has. Is it because of the TV, the betting has played a bigger part in it too?
No, it's just hard to go good to great. And the Packers organization is one that expects great and right now is good. How do you take that critical step? Teams get this wrong all the time in the NFL. They struggle to go to the elite step. And not just NFL, college teams doing it too. Tennessee's stuck at the same spot.
They are.
Putting Matt LaFleur in any kind of hot seat is like putting Josh Heupel in any kind of hot seat. It is a consequence of your expectations and your feeling that you should be competing for championships, yet you are good and not great. That's where they're at.
I hate it because it seems like the work that's done by the guys that actually have to be out on the field is all for nothing, because you as a fan are in a situation you feel like it should just snap your fingers and it should be better. Like it's a draft away. It's 2 drafts away. It's a free agent signing or the right amount of health that allows you to be that good though too. You know, I don't know. We're in a very finicky sports world right now. And I don't know how we get out of it. I hope as far as football is concerned, it doesn't take a nosedive because expectations aren't being matched by certain fan bases. But we got, numerous NFL coaches now that are fired before the season is over. We got nothing for Black Monday. Black Monday's the day after the season. Every coach gets fired, for the people that don't know. But, we have nothing right now for Black Monday at all. I don't know who else is left. I just saw on an ESPN article that said that the New York Giants would be the perfect spot for Mike Tomlin if let go. And I was just like, we're there. We're already predicting jobs.
Could be available? Is that what you're saying? Or you're just saying?
No. That was an article that came out that said it could be a position for him.
Listen, I'm on the record. If Mike Tomlin is available, you get on the phone with him the second he puts. I don't care. The second something goes into a box in his office, he should be getting a call from a 615 number.
And he got the flexibility to move right now. His kids aren't all at in Pittsburgh anymore. It was by Mike Greenberg who said that.
Oh well.
You for that one, though.
Respectfully.
Sign you up?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Would very much like to be signed up for that. Coming up tomorrow, Rhett Bryan will be here, as always, on Wednesday morning. I want to talk more about this Clark Lee thing we talked about with Stephen Godfrey yesterday and Dawn this morning. Vanderbilt, what are you waiting for? Why have you not extended Clark Lee yet? Maybe I would have just spoken that into existence. Maybe by the time we speak tomorrow, he's been extended. A deal should have gotten done yesterday. We'll spend a little more time on that tomorrow. Good to have you back. Welcome back.
Thank you, man. Glad to be back, man. And hopefully I brought some warm weather. But you must remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot, baby.